10:03, man.
10:03 in the good part of the world.
In the good part.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gaming After Dark podcast. I am your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom, and Snoof Nukem. I'm in the room. Boy, we have got a stacked panel and an amazing show lined up for you tonight. Can't wait to get right into it. But before we get into the topics and stuff, I have to introduce our esteemed guests for this evening, and we're going to start off with a man that you definitely know from Gaming Beyond the Box. He is the charismatic bearded man that we know as the HR Bomber. So lots of explosion in this podcast tonight. HR Bomber, my brother, how have you been? And welcome back to Gaming After Dark.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for definitely bringing me on, because definitely excited, because shoot, always love being a part of this, and of course just being with y'all and shooting the shit is always even the best part, especially when it's talking about gaming. So hell yeah. So I mean, other than that, I mean, I've honestly been just working like a freaking slave. It feels like that's basically what I've been up to. Haven't been able to really game much, like here and there for like a couple of hours. This last week's pretty much the most gaming I've done, and it's kind of sad. But hopefully we'll see something in about 9 days. I think there's something supposedly, but hey,
okay.
Yeah. But I'm ready. I'm
9
ready
days.
So
Wait.
All right. Well, all right. We'll find out what we're talking about in a minute, but glad you could make it here. We got a first-time guest, first time doing a podcast. Apparently, this man sent me a message when I put out the open call bat signal several months back, and I promised him I would have him on. It's been a little while, but I'm glad to have him here. I hope he enjoys his first time on Gaming After Dark. His name is REPN the 10. We know very little about him, so he's going to explain himself, but let's just say that, hey, I'm not sure what the rep in the 10 means, but hey, if he's referring to his penis, he's going to be a hot guy with the ladies for the next little while. So let's give it up, man. Drop it like it's hot in here.
What's up, everybody? It's Rep in the 10. Noof, appreciate you calling the bat call. I was waiting patiently. Kind of thought you forgot, but seeing that message, and I was really happy. I'm just glad to be here, guys. I've been looking up to everybody on the podcast for the most part, and I'm just excited to be here. Not too much to go over, but I'm in the gaming community. I'm trying to get my name out there, so I'm gonna cut it there, and let's get into topics after everybody's done.
Well, we're either a show maker or a show breaker, either one. It depends on how this goes off tonight. But hey, we're going to give you full props that your fucking mic sounds fantastic. So you're already one step ahead of the game already. So that's great.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to get more into you in just a moment, but let's catch up with the amazing panel. We'll start off with first and foremost, a man who makes it big each and every week. Well, of course, his name is big. It's Titan Drago.
Got to be big at something. What's up, everyone? Yeah, I've got my guy HR Bomber on here, man. He always makes me laugh on Twitter. Good guy to follow. If you don't, good having you on here, HR. And then we got this other guy who I frankly don't know who the hell he is. But welcome. I welcome him. And can I get a...
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can I get a screw Tony Baloney in the chat real quick? And let's do it.
Them's fighting words. Sounds like Tony Baloney might have a few words later.
He's writing shit down right now. Like,
he is.
And speaking of Tony Baloney, the man who brings him to life each and every week, it is the man who is charismatic, loud, proud, opinionated, and just frankly quite awesome. And we're always glad to have him back with us each and every week. It is the middle-aged game guy.
Yes, well, good evening, Noof. Good evening, chat. Good evening, panel, and our esteemed guests, HR Bomber, and of course, repping the 10. And man, listen to these names tonight. We got repping the 10 inches. We got the big Titan Drago. They got the big HR Bomber beard. We got Tony Baloney. We got one well-hung panel tonight, folks. So, let's get this show on the road. We got some great topics. We got some great things to talk about, and let's get right into it.
That's right. We're well hung, all right. We're going to turn the noose loose. Let's hang down. Let's go. All right. Let's catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll find out what everybody's been playing. And what's obviously, guys, like I said, you chat, you guys make us click each and every week. You're fucking fantastic. Let's start off with Timothy Dixon is in the house. What is up, my brother? We got Dre Venero here with us. DJ Birdo is in the house. Casket Repair hanging out with us as well this week. Spider-Man 356. He is always swinging in. Glad to see you here, my brother. Thanks Thanks so much. We have got Custods X. Iceman LMH is here. What's going on? Icy. Who else we got going? SpongeBob SquarePants is in the house. I'm kind of Terrence Tate is here. Infinite is here. Crazy Greek dude's in the house. Spooky Sprocket, Dreadpool, Born Distracted. Man, they're coming in. Eternal Shaddai. Got to get you back on the show too soon, brother. Toolman 65 is here. The Sim Army. Psychonauts 8. Whoo, man, we got a crew already helping here. Punkadoosh, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here. Yeah, good crew. Psychonauts is in the house too. Great crew, guys. Welcome. So there we go. 24 watching. Let's get right into it. Well, first of all, what have you guys been playing? We'll start with the panel. Titan, what has been keeping you busy?
Smite. It's about to be season 8, man. It's about to be a turnover. Oh, I've also been doing a little family Fortnite action. I know, Mag, you play with your son or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So me, my 2 sons, and my wife have been like teaming up, and like we're a pretty dang good team, And my wife is like pretty new. She's actually gotten a lot better since she first started. Like, so props to her for like she loves it. She keeps playing. She hit level 100 and unlocked Grogu. Little guy following you around. So that's kind of cool. What about you guys?
Right, Mag, what you been playing?
Well, I finished Cyberpunk, and I'm not going to go back. Yes, I finished it, but I'm not going back to it to mop up any achievements. Now, my biggest problem with that, and I'll just be very quick with this, is that there's one thing about CD Projekt Red's achievement system. I hate it. And the thing is, I've hated it since The Witcher 3, where they basically kind of force you to replay like the campaign over again and do, you know what I mean? Like, for example, I got locked out of an achievement in Cyberpunk because I decided to go right instead of going left to go like save this guy or whatever, right? And then I'm like, are you fucking kidding? So I finished this game or whatever, and then I looked into it, and then on top of it, like I would have to go back and play another 12 hours of the campaign that I've already played to go back and just get this one achievement. I'm like, no, ain't happening. Now, the other thing that pissed me off, attribute points and like the skill points and stuff, they don't give you enough to fill the entire meter by the end of the game. Like, you know how most games, like, you have to pump in like 50, 60, 70, 80 hours, whatever. And then you can eventually fill out like the skill tree, right? They don't give you enough points to fill out the skill tree. So you have to actually pick and choose. However, if you want to get the achievements for certain, like, take out X amount of enemies by doing this, you have to max out a certain branch, but then it leaves everything else completely vulnerable. Right. So what you have to do, I went and looked in like online, and there's like a whole fucking manual. They're like, okay, so what you have to do is do a manual save, and then a manual save up 20 attribute points. Then you put it towards this, go out, get the upgrade, do the achievement, go back to your manual save. And this is not just once. This is like 4 or 5 different achievements you have to do that. And I'm like, you know what, guys? Go fuck yourself. I'll play AC Valhalla or one of those games where no matter how long it takes or no matter what, you're not going to get locked out of your achievements because I'm a completionist. So anyways, there's my pissed off rant for the day. So I've been playing, I finished Cyberpunk, and now I'm back on the PS5, and I finally started Miles Morales. And man, the first hour is one hell of an explosive ride. What a game. So anyway, that's what I'm doing.
Let me jump on that real quick. Couple things Cyberpunk-wise. First of all, the money for a respec is insane. Like, I don't think
another problem.
I don't think I saved that much money throughout the entire game since I beat it. But one cool part I do like about it is how they're like, hey, once you enter these doors, you're about to enter the end game. Do what you got to do,
Right.
Right.
So you can kind of go back to that point and then walk through that door whenever you're ready. You know what I'm saying? I like
right,
that
but
part.
it locks you out of achievements because you decided to make certain decisions along the way. So let's say you want to go back, you would have to actually start a whole new campaign. And like, that's bullshit. Like, come on, guys. This is an open world. Open world, you shouldn't be locked out of achievements. That's just me. That's my own frustration. Right. But yeah, anyways.
Let's get over to our guest, Mr. H.R. Bomber. I know you said you haven't been playing too much because you've been busy working, but when you have had a few minutes to play, what's it been?
It's been Cyberpunk, baby. I love that freaking game. I've almost put 70 hours into it, and
nice.
I'm still not even halfway through the freaking main campaign. But hey, it is what it is. But no, like that, and then here lately, the last couple of nights I've been able to play a few Call of Duty freaking Modern Warfare. I just got back into it and just started screwing around, and that's really all I've been playing, honestly. Kind of excited for, like I said, in 9 days for something new, but we'll see.
Oh,
9 days.
in Modern Warfare?
Oh no,
Outlander?
No,
Outlander?
Titan, it's Smite.
Well, hey, that's coming too, man.
Outlander or
He's late.
was it the Outlander or the Medium? Right?
Medium.
Medium rare. That's the sequel.
I haven't played too much of the COD since they kind of joined the two games together. It's like there's like all these other there's all these other guns there. It's like the MC.
Because they screwed
mess.
Well, because they
a
screwed
mess.
you. I will say this. This is one thing I hate about the Warzone bullshit is that, you know, I didn't buy Cold War because I thought it was a piece of shit, so I didn't buy it. And it pisses me off that literally they have OP weapons in the new Cold War that you can get in Warzone, but you cannot get them unless you have Cold War. So if you're playing Warzone, you'll never get those guns. So you're getting blasted by what is it, the DMR that everybody's like talking about? Like you can't get it.
That got nerfed and it's still OP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it's still OP.
You can get
It's
the guns,
stupid.
you just don't have access to multiplayer to upgrade them so fast like everybody else does. But they're free on Warzone. It's just, hey, we're gonna overpower these so you can buy my game. That's another $65 and then play
Wow.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Just to
Well, I
grind them out.
can't even on Warzone. I can't even select the gun. It says I need Cold War in order to use it,
Wow.
Maybe
or you have to buy the stupid gun pack or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not like
Yeah.
you literally put a paywall again. Like you're fully paywall. Come
Pay to
on,
win.
y'all.
That's it. They're giving you all the maps, but that's why they're holding you back now. They're giving you
Yeah.
more content than before, but they're also holding you back from the stuff that So it's kind of give some, take some, right?
Yeah,
With those
and that
guys.
rotate shit pisses me off too. Sorry, get on my soapbox for a second.
Based on your gamer pick there, repping the 10, I'm guessing you probably an Xbox guy. What consoles do you currently own, and what games have you been busy playing?
Maybe he's repping the 10 teraflops.
Hey. You ain't lying. No, I do have a Series X. I have a PlayStation 5.
Nice.
I was fortunate enough to get those on the day one pre-orders. It was a mess, I'll tell you that. I felt like I was interviewing for a job. It was nerve-wracking. I was sitting there refreshing my phone. I have 3 monitors here that I was constantly refreshing. I had a laptop refreshing, and I couldn't get out of the checkout process. So it worked out. I got them. Thank God. I also just picked up a gaming PC this year too, which actually I've never been one for PC gaming. I think it's too complicated. I like the convenience of turning it on and our console on and it just going.
Yep.
But the one I bought here was on sale, and I'll tell you what, I haven't really touched the Xbox or the PlayStation 5 since I got this computer, man.
Nice.
Yeah, so
stay,
it's awesome.
stay humble now. We don't want to have you back here in 6 months and you're keep the elitist over there.
Yeah.
Remember when we had that douchebag on? He was a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So what game have you been playing, whether it's on PC or whatever? What game has been keeping you busy?
Let's see. I got done playing Spider-Man, which I absolutely loved. I loved the first one, and Miles Morales was. I didn't think they could beat the first one, and this one was even better. So that was amazing.
Nice.
I got done with that. I obviously dipped into Cyberpunk, and I love that game. I'm somewhat of a completionist, so I really burned myself out on open world games. So I think I played for a week or maybe 2 weeks, and now I haven't touched it. So
Make sure you go left instead of right.
yeah, I was thinking about that. Left or right? I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll ask
I'm
him
just fucking around.
But other than that, I'm all about Call of Duty Warzone. I hate Call of Duty, but I love Battle Royale, and Warzone's probably the best one I've liked in a while. So yeah, I'm that guy.
Hey man, it's all good. It's all good. Whatever you like. Nobody's here to judge, man. That's the way it goes. Fuck. Wait till you tell you what I've been playing. I'll get lots of judgment for sure. Let's give a shout out to the chat before I do that, because we got the doctors in the house. So we know we're in good hands when the doctor is here. Like I said, Punkadish is here with us as well. The Simp Army, what's going on? The person I'm just going to refer to as Dot in the chat because that's all I ever see. I don't see a name. It's Dot. So there you go. Axel 1324 is in the house. What's going on, Axel? Glad you could be here. Jesse Casey Darby, one of our loyal followers in the house as well. Fastback is here. What's going on, Fastback? We got Saba Gunter. Gunter, what's going on, brother? Glad you could be here. And for me, guys, I've been playing a game that, I kind of gave up on a while back, and for some weird reason, I just wanted to play it again. And guess what it is? Death Stranding.
Oh, hey, man.
Death Stranding.
Whatever,
Hey,
man.
hey, look, there's nothing wrong with that.
Beautiful game. Oh god, that game, low-key addiction.
Yeah, there's something oddly intriguing about the game. It's like, I know there's not sort of a lot to do in it, but there's something that fucking pulls me back in, and I just want to keep playing it for some weird reason. It's just, I don't know. It's like an enigma kind of game. It's just, maybe it's just this weird, crazy ass story that you just want to see where it goes. And because there's very few games out there like it in many ways, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. Obviously, like I said, we've been having some great community game nights over the last few weeks and stuff like that. And I've been playing a little bit of private match with Halo and Gears and different things and stuff like that. We had some good times the other night here. It was me and Iceman and Game Down Sights and different. My God, Game Down Sight. Jesus, guys, if you're going to play Halo, if you get him and Iceman on your team, holy fuck. The Sights is just ridiculous. I knew he was good, but fuck, he was schooling me so bad. I felt like I was a grade schooler learning the fucking shit again. I was, what the fuck? Well, him and R double like gets all the power weapons. If he gets his hands on the power weapons, you're fucked. That's it. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, the FedEx simulator. I know it's kind of weird, right? But yeah. Darth Praxis, welcome, man. Glad you could be here. All right, let's get into some of the topics, guys. We got, like I said, it's kind of a quieter topics time, so hopefully we can pound through these fairly quickly. We still got our regular segments, which means Ask Arnold, so get your questions ready for that. And Tony Baloney will be back later on. First one, courtesy of Titan Drago, dropped this in the chat earlier. I guess there's been a Valve leaker who's more or less confirmed that it looks like a Fallout New Vegas 2 maybe very well in the works, and anything is a possibility. I know it's a big franchise. Fallout's usually popular. We also know that now that Obsidian and Xbox and the deal that currently is means there is a possibility that could be. Now, whether Obsidian takes it over, that we really don't know. But I mean, at least in theory, that potential is there. So since he dropped the topic, I'll let him take it over first. I mean, Titan, how do you feel about the Fallout franchise in general? Would you be excited for a New Vegas 2? And if it does come out, how far do you think it could be out?
All right, well, that's a lot of questions. Well, let's start with just the Fallout games. I feel like they come out a little bit too close to each other. Because that Fallout New Vegas, a lot of people liked that. I don't really know anyone that really disliked that game. I know a lot of people didn't like Fallout 4. I liked Fallout 4. I've liked all the Fallouts from 3 on, on till now. And so the thing about Fallout is it comes behind their other big Elder Scrolls for me, right? Like, I prefer Elder Scrolls over Fallout, but it's just funny that they're talking about this now because the sequel is set in the second half of this decade. So imagine just the hype that's going to be coming around this game when it comes a year or two before it gets released or whatever. They're already talking about this, and this is like it's essentially a spark or a twinkle in some mother's eye right now. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, there's going to be a lot of new information that comes out about this. I'll go on. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it first, and then I'm going to kind of bounce off of you guys.
Sure.
So go ahead.
Meg.
Someone else take it. I want to hear what you guys got. What do you guys think about Fallout and stuff?
Floor is yours, man.
I'm gonna take the ball and run with this one a little bit. Now, I'm gonna say that I would be excited for it. That's for sure. But there's too many questions. Like why? How does a Valve guy know what's going on? I mean, if this is something that, let's say, in theory, that Bethesda / Obsidian is working on, okay, because we don't know who's working on it. We don't know what's going on. Even that guy doesn't even know, but he's saying that he knows that it's coming in the second half of this decade, which, we're still talking like 4 or 5 years down the road. Now, let's just say for argument's sake, it was like, I don't know, let's say I've heard people throwing around the word, the devs of Obsidian. Mm-hmm. Obsidian is working on an Outer Worlds sequel. Obsidian is working on Avowed. Mm-hmm. When the fuck are they gonna have time to make this game?
Well, they
Like-
got multiple teams. I want to know how many teams they got.
Okay, but
You know?
but these are AAA games that require major attention. So these are not little side projects where you could be like, all right, let's just make a little arena beater up like that one that came out in the summer there, the one with the hoverboards. I always forget the damn name of that game. Anyways, yeah, I mean, when's it gonna come out? 2040? Like, why even bother talking about it? So what I think, okay, let's just say in theory, if it is coming in the second half of this decade, then you know what I think they should do? Shut up. Okay, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to have the same project that CD Projekt Red had by announcing that game in 2013, okay, and then it was 2020 and it still hadn't come out yet, right? So all of a sudden, if they start talking about Fallout New Vegas 2 and they are working on it eventually, it's coming out in 5 years, whatever, you're going to build up what I like to call the Star Wars effect of unrealistic expectations. Okay, everybody's expectations are going to be so high and so brutally out of control that when the game comes out, they're going to be disappointed in one way or another. I think it's a mistake to talk about it now, if in fact they are working on it, and we don't even know who's working on it, right? So I don't know. I don't know, man. There's a whole lot of questions, and no answers for me.
Okay.
Well, this guy McVicker, he's like, they said he established himself as being a reliable source when it comes to like reporting on Valve. So that's like, however he's got his source, like supposedly he's pretty established and whatnot. And just Microsoft, acquiring Bethesda. I want to take a second and just look at the forward thinking that Microsoft has like planned out. You gotta be in awe and inspired by it. We're talking Bethesda, we're talking like Obsidian, all of these Obsidian, like Ninja Theory, who we're gonna talk about tonight. These are turning out to be like ridiculous acquisitions, and we're only just starting to hear about it. And you know what? These games are gonna be coming out. And they're gonna blow your minds. I don't know how anyone could hate on Xbox at this point.
Right.
How many studios did they acquire from 2018 to now? Was it like 15?
It was like 6 to 23, and then there's more coming.
Yeah, they started at 6, and now they have 23, and then potentially more.
Yeah, think about that. Think about that. 2018, it's 2021, 3 years. Games take 3 to 5 years to develop. Every game, every year from now till, let's say, 2030, we're going to be getting exclusives. There's no doubt about it. And the caliber of the studios, like you said, Bethesda, Obsidian, like Fallout New Vegas 2, that game alone, like we're talking about it, and it was a guy that leaked it or a guy that says, it's real, but we don't even know it's real. And it has that magnitude that I would say Skyrim or Elder Scrolls 6 does. In my opinion, you don't say anything about it. Like Mac said.
Mag, we're sorry to cut you off. Real quick. They're also working on updates to Grounded as well as a sequel to Outer Worlds.
Okay, so there's no chance that they're working on this anytime soon. Like, for example, here, I'm gonna shout out to Darth Praxis in the chat here. He just said exactly what I'm trying to say. He's like, Obsidian has around 200 employees, but the number of irons in the fire right now, a sequel to New Vegas in the next 5 years feels like a stretch. And that's what I was trying to say. You're working on 2 AAA titles first and foremost. And then you're tinkering around with other games that you're going to be doing updates for and whatever else with maybe some smaller teams. Yeah. They don't have time for this. I mean, even if it is coming, like I said, don't talk about it. Just leave it alone and let us focus on what they are working on now instead of worrying about what's going to come out in 7 years. Like I said, like CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk. They announced it in 2013. But they should have kept their mouths shut.
This is coming from people that are not going to probably be making the game. So that's why. That's another reason why I'm with you, May. Like, this is it's just like a rumor, very similar to most of everything we hear all the time. Is like this rumor's coming. Like, it's just like, we want to run with it because hey, it's news. Like, let's talk about it. Sure. But knowing what Valve is doing, what would they need to know if something's coming in the next decade. Who cares? Like
That's like
Well,
Sony
I-
Santa
I-
Monica giving us an update on Halo.
Well, I've got
yeah,
a great question
exactly.
for you guys.
That's literally the same. Yes, absolutely. Or Epic saying, "Hey, man, the new COD in 2 years, man, that thing's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy." Like, come on.
Well, I got a question to propose to you. Before I do, I heard they're actually making a Fallout sequel, and you know what it's titled? It's called Fallout Mag's Hair.
That already done came out, man.
I know that's already
What
gone.
are you talking about?
That's right.
What is this, a remaster?
But here's my question, and Reppin' the 10 can start off with answering this question, and I'll propose it as well to the chat and to the panel. I mean, since, like, again, this is kind of in a sense irrelevant because, again, it's speculation. If there is a title that's so far fucking out, like, to be getting excited about it, it's, you know, that's ridiculous. You know, so, but here's my question to you. I mean, first of all, if a Fallout New Vegas 2 comes out, are you excited about it? I mean, obviously it's a pretty easy yes or no, but are you more excited about depending on which studio does it? And the second part of this question is, do you think the Fallout name itself has somewhat been tarnished by the reputation left behind with Fallout 76? Because we saw how one Mass Effect game almost destroyed the franchise. We've seen how, you know what I mean? So, like, that's what I want to know.
Look, when you got a string of games, okay? Like, there's been how many Assassin's Creeds, right, that people haven't liked? Like, when you have a string of games, they're not all going to be, you know, what everyone wants. Like, there are some people that didn't like Odyssey, you know? Like, they don't prefer that style of gameplay. So it's like, now obviously Odyssey's on another level, and that's not what you're talking about as far as like failure when it comes to Fallout 76 and things like that, and overhyped projects and this and that. But I think you gotta give these developers, like, they tried something, right? Did it work out? Except for the small, really small, tight-knit group that, you know, because every game has its followers, you know, every game has its following, no matter how small or big it may be. And I think it's safe to say Fallout 76 has a relatively smaller following.
Yeah.
But,
here's
you know,
what I'll say.
Go ahead.
Here's what I'll say about 76. Yes, they tried it. I think it was a good wake-up call. They tried it. Fallout Online is probably not the greatest idea that they ever created. And I think that with how buggy it was and how backwards the engine was, I think it just slapped them in the face. Hey, it's time to update some shit. Like, we can't keep making these games as buggy as they are because of this backlash and stuff. But would I say that tarnishes the reputation? No. We haven't really got a Fallout-esque game since then, so I don't think so yet. I think it really depends on the next game they do release. Like Starfield, if that bombs, you know, we'll probably have some questions, but I don't think so. I'm so excited for the games. Fallout New Vegas 2, that's Obsidian, I hope. But then again, I don't know, because that's so long ago. You know, what if it has the cyberpunk effect? You know, once they announce it and it gets overhyped, it's not going to live up to the hype. I don't know. But Avowed's going to be a really big one for me to really see if Obsidian still has that style still, you know, because I played Outer Worlds, and I think I played it for an hour and I just couldn't get into it. So I'm hoping they do it justice if they're doing it.
Let me throw this question at Bomber. Bomber, do you think that Microsoft now, because obviously once this deal is finished and the writing is inked and everything is closed, do you think that is also potential? Do you think they're just going to let, say, Bethesda kind of be status quo here and just kind of throw, because, you know, Bethesda's kind of surprised us a few times with throwing games out. We're kind of like, oh, this game is coming out now, like, you know, next week kind of deal. So do you think that the relationship or how maybe they release games will be fundamentally different now that Microsoft has at least some sort of perhaps say over when something should get launched? I mean, obviously it's the Game Pass effect too, where, I mean, maybe it's the opposite, because at Game Pass, maybe they're like, they won't give a fuck because they're like, well, just get it out there, keep the content rolling, we'll patch it and bring it along as it goes. Or do you think it's Microsoft be like, no, we can't really afford for you guys to bring out a game that's anything less than stellar because we need this game to kind of fire right out the gate? So what do you think it might be there?
Noof, that's a really good point.
like all this, like me personally, yeah, the whole Game Pass thing. Like, look, these studios care about what kind of product they bring out personally, and especially when it comes to a franchise like Fallout. Yeah, Fallout 76 was completely different. It wasn't a single player campaign game that everybody's used to. It's not story driven. It's just make your own thing, kill each other. It was a buggy mess, whatever. It was bad. They gambled. It just didn't work out. Cool. You're not going to make another game like that again. Microsoft's not going to fund that again. Like, look, we're done with it. We'll keep it going as long as there's certain people playing because, hey, it'll be in Game Pass. Cool. But I think they are, even though, yes, Bethesda will probably pretty much do what they do normally. So they're going to make their games well, but you got to think, like, this is just one studio and one part of that studio that's making that game, right? Like we said, there's 200 people, or roughly 200 people that work there. They probably have, say, 70 to 100 people just working on another Fallout. Just say if they are. That again, that's going to be in the future because, again, like we've said, they're already working on Avowed, which is probably taking quite a bit of people since it's a new IP. They want to focus, make sure that is done right, especially with everybody. Because I still believe, and this is me personally, because I see it too much on freaking Twitter, is that I think we put too much emphasis on AAA and quadruple A and bullshit like that, just because, oh my God, if it's AAA, it's got to be amazing. No, it actually doesn't. Played some AAA games that suck. It is what it is. But I think Microsoft will, the relationship they have with each other has many years they've been with each other. They've done well in the past, and it's just going to continue and probably be even better. So you probably actually will see even better games coming out. Plus, like we said, you're going to have a lot of sharing with all these other studios as well, sharing all their tips and tricks and whatever, or even borrowing a dev here and there. So you're going to see better product from all these studios. And I really do think this whole ZeniMax thing, like they kind of, everybody's got their freaking, magnifying glass on them, just like, oh my God, what are they going to make next? And, it's got to be amazing. And I'm like, they're going to make really good games. None of these studios are shitty. Like, you can't just go, they're a shitty studio.
Let me look at it like this. Let's look at it like this. With Bethesda being under the Microsoft umbrellas, they have no worries anymore, right? Their time frames have been automatically relaxed as soon as this deal gets finalized. Now think about this. Like, not being under like the Microsoft umbrella, which in my opinion is the best umbrella to be under right now. I don't know how you could say I would rather be acquired by anyone else other than Microsoft right now, right? PlayStation, you're in good hands with them. But as far as anyone else, boy, oh boy, you don't know, like the gaming industry has no idea what it's like to be working under Google or working, and anyone else right now. So, but what we do know is that Microsoft, Phil Spencer has always said, he's been like, you know what, we're going to let them maintain creative control. We acquired these companies because we know what they're capable of. We know what they're coming with down the pipeline. And we acquired them because of that, because of their efficiency and all these other things, right? They're so smart in their acquisitions. And you know what? As soon as Bethesda gets acquired, and let's say they're getting ready to release a game and it's completely bugged out or something like Fallout 76 was, that's when Phil Spencer is going to step in and he's going to be like, hey guys, take another few months on this, no problem. Whereas when they're not under the Microsoft, they're kind of burning through their own money because they got to get this game out. They got to start making some of this money back when they're not, when their bills aren't being paid for them, essentially.
That's true.
Right.
That's a true statement.
Well, but at the same time, I hear your points and you make some valid points here, guys. But let's not forget either that back in the day, remember Rare? Like Rare was basically a license to print money. They were the golden goose of pretty much for Nintendo for many, many years. Outside of Nintendo's direct games, Rare was that golden thing. Microsoft put a lot of money in them to buy them out, and we expected big things. And if you look at it honestly, we've had very, very little from Rare in that time of that acquisition. I mean, they came out with that Cameo game, then they did Perfect Dark Zero or whatever it was, but there's been very little from them outside of that since they kind of were acquired. I mean, obviously they've got Sea of Thieves, but like I feel that there's a studio where there's a lot of potential being wasted, in my personal opinion. They have a lot of IPs that they could be working on, and they really haven't done much outside of Sea of Thieves for the most part. And it had, of course, the Rare Replay collection, which is just a remaster. So like, I don't know, like I don't feel like Microsoft's lighting the fire under some of these devs either. They're not maybe they should be cracking the whip a little more and getting some stuff out there. I don't know.
I also think, like, I mean, of course, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've even heard and just from other people saying is that Rare just doesn't want to even jump into their backlog. That's why,
That's correct.
Perfect Dark is not being made by them. It's another reason why they've said they're not doing a Banjo, and somebody else may. I mean, they have plenty of studios to do so. Double Fine has already said, hey, we'll definitely go after some of those IPs if we can, if Rare will let us. So, I mean, there's like Rare just wants to make new stuff. Clearly, I mean, look at Sea of Thieves, look at Everwild, whatever the hell that's going to be.
Yeah.
Like there's, they have like this weird creative mind that they want to do something different and cool. Granted, like you said, though, they haven't done much other than Sea of Thieves, but then again, it wasn't a complete game when they first launched it, and they finally are getting it into like this continuous craziness that is blown up, which is, to me, is insane. I still am about the game, but hey, I'm happy people enjoy the game just like any other game. Like shit.
HR, when we saw clips of Sea of Thieves before it came out, because I'm sure we've all seen them, like as soon as we saw those clips, I was like, man, I can't wait to play that game. That game looks fun as hell. It looks different. I'll tell you this much. I'm really worried about Everwild.
Oh, dude, I was very worried about Everwild.
and the reason why I'm worried is because of like what of the devs themselves. What
they're like, I don't know. They said I don't even know what it's about. Like,
like what? Like you got this world building, you know what the game's about? What?
Yeah, like seriously,
Death Stranding
as hell.
First of all, I was like, when I saw that and read it, I was like, all right, Phil, you better be on the phone like right now. Like, what the fuck is this? Or Matt Mooney, somebody got to be cracking.
We got this cartoon world where we're doing magic. We don't know what it's about, but it looks cool.
Yeah, we got some cool looking shaded animals and shit. But hey,
if Everwild bombs, do we question that, or like what's the direction?
Absolutely. At that point, you really question Rare and what the hell they're doing.
Rare went out and hired all the fucking guys that got fucking scale bound, it sounds like.
Platinum Games is just sitting in there like, hey guys.
You guys can take these guys. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. They make shit look cool and give them want it.
God damn it, not again.
It's like they've been tripping on acid for the last 6 months, and like all of a sudden they went sober and feels like, hey, what do you got? Oh well.
But can we all agree perhaps that Rare is sort of the dark horse, that Rare has a lot more potential than I think they've let on? Like there's so much more I think that studio could potentially do, and that we just haven't seen. I mean, like I said, somebody got to bring out a new Conquer, man. Like I don't care. Like Conquer,
I agree.
Like we got platform. Well, one, we don't have a lot of platformers, period. Not like we used to get back in the day. And two, I mean, how many platforms have we seen where the protagonist in the game is like a little raunchy fuck ass squirrel? I mean, when I first saw that fucking Lucky Sale, I literally thought that was Conquer, and then I was like, okay, no, this is something different. But I think a lot of us would like to see it a mature based Conquer game. Could you imagine what they could do with the technology now where they've been? It would just blow my mind.
And like I said, throw Double Fine at that shit, dude.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, and I think that's where some of these small teams may actually be doing those type games. You never know. I mean, you don't know what they're bringing these in. I mean, we already know that there's 7 teams before this ZeniMax thing that we still have yet to see what they're making out of their original 15. So I mean, it's insane to know that we have no idea what 7 of them are at least making, and then what they could potentially make. I mean, Rare has so much underneath their umbrella, like you said, that needs to come out. We all need it. We all want to see a Banjo. I mean, I say we all do. I don't know if anybody else does, but
nostalgia works really well for Nintendo. So why is it that anybody else but Nintendo seems to not think that bringing back nostalgia is going to be? Obviously, Sony hasn't slept on Ratchet and Clank. They're bringing out another one.
Oh, dude,
but Xbox is sitting on more than one property here, and it's
dude,
like, why is nobody? You have that many studios now. It just makes logical sense. Like it just you got and Phil has addressed the fact that they need platformers. That's one area that they're kind of lacking, and it's something that appeals to not only older gamers, but something that obviously could appeal to the family as well.
Well, you know, the thing is, though, is also why don't we let the first round of games come out from these studios?
Yeah,
and then maybe that's their plan. Because if you know, most people who know how a corporation runs, they don't plan for the next 5 years. They're planning for the next 25, right? So they have a blueprint already, all the way till Phil retires. You know, and so you know, like even like I think I said it a couple of weeks ago on this very show. I was talking about Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige from 2017 had the next 30 years of films planned from 2007, if you could believe it. Right. So why wouldn't these guys do the same? A corporation just as big, if not bigger, Microsoft being bigger than even Disney in some respects. So the thing is, maybe they're going to go for these first round of games first, see what they come out. You've got Compulsion working on that, what's it called? That Uncharted / BioShock game coming out, and all these other, all the other teams work on their games. And then maybe the plan is after that, once those big games drop, you know, you could ride off those games for a few years, and during those few years, then they could start banging out some other stuff to plug in those the Game Pass holes. Because I mean, let's face it, that's what they're working on, right? It's to keep Game Pass flooded with first-party content. So maybe they'll work on that stuff later on. So I don't know. My personal opinion, I say we chill, sit back. Let's see what their first round. Like even Rare is working on that crazy game that's coming up, Everwild.
If it's coming again, like I said, they don't even know what it's about.
They don't even know. Yeah, they don't even know what it's about. Yeah, they're worse than Kojima. He's like, they're like, so what's this game about? And Kojima's like, yes. Yeah, that's the answer. You know, so
well, the game's called Death Stranding, and it's about stranding.
Yeah, it's about stranding.
Game.
Every time you interview that mug, you leave with more questions than answers.
That's the strand.
Great stuff, man. Fuck, we took a kind of a light topic here, and we pounded her out for nearly almost half of the show. So, good thing we don't have crazy news weeks going on here. We'll let Meg take the next topic, I guess, if you'd like, just because, I want to get him in here repping the 10 as well, guys. Let's give a shout out to the chat. We got some new faces up in here tonight, like the Video Games HD. What's happening? We got Isai in the chat. What's going on, Isai? We got Spooky Sprocket. Lady AF is in the chat. What's going on?
Hey, lady.
We got Doggy Dog is with us. Mr. Kima's in the house. What's going on, guys? Glad you could be here. We got Christian Christian Lyman. Hope I pronounced that right. How you doing? Who did I miss? Jesse Darby's with us, hanging out. Jesse, what's going on? Darth Practice. Praxis, sorry. The list goes on, guys. Again, thank you to each and everybody that makes this podcast worthwhile each and every week. You are Dreadpool. Cheers. Iceman. Harry Numbat. Well, there's an interesting name. Harry Numbat. God damn, we get the best names coming in here. What's going on, man? Glad you could be here. So let's get over it while doing one more topic, and then we'll have the Ask Arnolds to get those questions lined up. I think Jesse already dropped one in the chat earlier, which hopefully I can get to when we get there. So, so like I said, it was a pretty lighthearted topic. Let's get into the next one here. Just scrolling up and finding my my deal here. I would say, well, maybe let's start off with Bomber. Bomber, you dropped a little article here earlier in our message box about Lucas Games and kind of doing two games, I guess, in cohorts with Microsoft, so to speak. You want to enlighten us on what that topic is about, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, apparently, something that basically there's been this talk about like some unannounced games that are coming in 2021 that basically from the DICE developer and also from apparently like people like Jez Gordon, at least from this particular article states it anyway, that they were talking about two big games coming that have been rumored coming from, Disney, basically coming from LucasArts to have two games exclusive through Microsoft to make. Granted, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, to me, even through the article, going through it, it seems very like there's definitely nothing like concrete. I think like the main thing they talk about, like we've already talked about, honestly, is like who's going to be making these games. Like they want Knights of the Old Republic, but Obsidian, Well, they're already working on 5,000 games. Like they're just
So
not going to do it. So
These
who
two
do you
titles
throw?
are not referring to the Indiana Jones that we already saw or the Star Wars Bethesda game.
Exactly. This has nothing to do with either one of those two games because we know Indiana Jones is definitely not coming in 2021. So it's going to be something that hasn't been announced yet that's supposed to come out and be like a big deal. But to me, since this just started, like we just now found out that EA no longer has the exclusivity, I don't know how this is going to really, like how something would be already in the works with Microsoft for multiple years to bring out something in 2021.
Well, I want to talk about the way I want to talk about the way you worded that real quick. You said EA no longer has exclusivity. Did they cancel it? Because it's my understanding that they still have it till 2023, that nothing's been canceled per se, but it's like, we talked about this last week, that they've essentially sent out an all call for like video, it's like, hey, we're not locking this down to any exclusivity whatsoever. EA can make the game as well as everyone else. And in 2023, games aren't going to come out before 2023, right?
Right. Exactly. And that's the reason why I think with this particular thing, with the 2021 things, like there's no way it would be anything. Like, I don't see how anything could come in 2021 when the exclusivity is still with EA right now. So that's why I'm like, there's no way. But, again, people grab stuff and kind of throw it out. But, even if this is something that could be something that has been pushed out because of this COVID thing that was supposed to happen, whatever, like, yeah, okay, maybe there is something that's coming out. Of course, I always go back to that Todd Howard interview with Phil Spencer and all that, where they're talking about the studio, whatever, and they, everybody, freeze framed his picture and like look at the back to see, all the different games that they may be making.
That's right. And me and you had a Twitter. We went back and forth about that.
Absolutely.
I said it's all in his hair, man.
It's all in his hair, man. I'm telling you, absolutely. And it's funny because there are some Star Wars things on there. I mean, hey, you never know. They could be doing a Star Wars game. We don't know. There are plenty of studios to do so. But again, I don't see this coming in 2021 for this particular thing, but it could be something that, like you said, gets pushed out to 2023 or whatever, whenever these finally come out, like Indiana Jones, stuff like that.
Right. Well, Lucasfilm does have more properties than just Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Mag, do you want to jump in on with any predictions on this?
Well, the thing is, what I'm curious about is who the hell would be working on these and when, and this has been basically the running theme since 10 o'clock, the beginning of the show here is the running theme of when, how, and who, because they're all working on AAA IPs right now that take a long time. We've got a serious situation with COVID, okay, that has slowed everything down. A lot of which, by the way, something Phil did say, by the way, in the summer, I believe. He said, be prepared for a very dry 2021, as a lot of things are going to get delayed. And he wasn't just talking about Xbox stuff. He was talking about the industry in total, right? So 2021 is going to be a very dry year. So whatever you guys already got purchased, cozy up, okay? Get real cozy with them, because a hell of a lot of games got pushed. So now, that being said, then they have these other possible Lucasfilm IPs coming. When? Like, you're talking 5, 6, 7 years down the road. And that is insanity, because all the studios are working on something. You got 3, 4. Well, we already know. I don't have to go through the whole damn the list of all the devs and what they're working on the Xbox side. But if you think about them, you're still talking at least some of them at least 2, 3 years down the line. Sometimes some of them even 4. Like, we would know, who the hell knows when Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out, right? Could be 2025 or 2024 or whatever. That, who's going to be working on these other games? So you're going to have to look at some of those outside, those other devs. The one who made Tokyo, what is it called? Tokyo Ghostwire. Okay, maybe them, because their game is basically finished. It's coming out this year, I believe, or early next year. And then you've got that other one, the one I like to call the gun shooty game. That looks like the one that's on the Sony PlayStation. That's going to be. That's it. I call it gun shooty game.
Gun
So,
shooty.
yeah. So we've got Deathloop coming. That game is basically finished. So maybe those two studios, those are the only ones I can think of. Can anybody think of any other studio that's not neck deep in shit right now, working hard on AAA IP? They would have time to give real proper time
Right.
on a Lucasfilm licensed IP. I can't think of it.
No, well, the answer to that is no. But did you guys see that apparently the answer to that rhetorical question? Did you guys see that Microsoft supposedly has unannounced projects to be released in 2021?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
but we know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I gotta say these are gotta be smaller titles, right? Just like
Yeah, I don't
kind of
see
like
them being big
filler
ones.
titles, right? What are you guys thinking?
You know what?
Hey, you know what would be good? A Goonies indie game.
A what? Sorry,
A Goonies game.
that would be
Goonies?
awesome.
A Goonies
That would
game.
be actually good. That would be amazing.
I could see them coming out with like one sleeper big hit. May not be what everybody wants this AAA thing to be, but something big that nobody thought of because they never talked about it, they never showed it, and then they just throw it out there because they can, because of Game Pass, because why not? But I do agree that I think the other unannounced stuff could be just these little small indie games that are going to be quick, something that they were able to build the last couple of years and just are able to throw out there to fill in the gaps, especially with, like we said, so many things have been pushed out. Games that were supposed to come out at the beginning of this year now pushed out, to the middle of this year. Then we're just going to probably still keep seeing that until 2022. So I mean, it's hard to say
Spider-Man
because
says they were AAA games. I've not seen that, but you know what? Either way, I hope one of them is a good simulation game because I love a good simulation game to fill time with.
And I know this may trigger some people, but my God, if they announce another first-person game, I'm gonna be sick. I'm like, dudes, like y'all got the first-person shooter / just first-person perspective genre going on. Like, okay, we got you. You got like 20 games in the works with that. Give me something else. Like, just throw some other things in there at least.
Did you guys stop to think for maybe 1 second that they might be going the Miles Morales / Hive Busters route to fill in this gap during the AAA, the big AAA games? Like, for example, the word's been thrown around about a Forza Horizon, not a Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah,
not a Forza Horizon 5, but a Forza Horizon expansion that would be a standalone expansion a la Miles Morales, a la Uncharted Lost Legacy, a la Hive Busters, Gears Hive Busters, right? So maybe that's going to be, the new in fashion thing to do, because you can crank those out, really quality 10-hour experiences, 5-hour experiences, 10-hour experiences, and they're good quality games, all of those three that I mentioned anyway. And you could do that. The turnaround on those could be a hell of a lot quicker than a 100-hour game that takes 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, whatever to make. So that might be something that might be more in fashion going forward, especially when you've got subscription services and you need shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when you make a movie or a show like for Netflix, you get like a Stranger Things. It doesn't take them 6 years to film a season. They can film it in a couple of months, and then they have to do the pre and post production, whatever. So, within a year or so, you can have it out, so that you would be able to constantly, let's say you release a big game like Halo Infinite, and then as they said, like a 10-year plan, and then instead you're going to be releasing a standalone DLCs to add on to that for the next 10 years, as opposed to doing a Halo Infinite 2. You know what I'm saying? And then same with the Forza. Once Forza Motorsport comes out, I could foresee them doing once a year or once every year and a half another DLC expansion thrown into Game Pass, or you could purchase it separately if you really want to for like $20 or whatever. And I could see that as the model moving forward. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see that
every 10 years.
I could easily see that, especially with them, especially with Forza Motorsport, like you said, is they're kind of trying to think of the word, but basically they're not doing Forza Motorsport like 8. It's just a rehash, like it's just round up. It's like, it's just Motorsport. We're doing this new thing, and so you don't have a number next to it, so you just literally could just keep adding things to it for multiple years, like you said, keep dropping things every 6 months, every 3 months. I mean, shoot, it doesn't matter. And you don't have to have a big team on that. You can have a small team doing that, and your big team's working on your next big thing, which then by the time that is announced and comes out, it doesn't like make people go, oh my God, it's going to be another 4 years. No, that's going to be in another year because they've already been working on it because they've been feeding you stuff and you didn't realize it.
Right,
So,
like World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
World of Warcraft. There's no World of Warcraft 2.
Oh, dude, World of Warcraft.
You know what I'm saying? But like that's the
No,
model.
absolutely.
And that model fits perfectly with a subscription service. I think, and let's face it, guys, whether you like it, whether some people like it or not, the subscription service thing is what's moving forward. I mean, do you see CD stores hanging around anymore? HMV that used to be around all over Toronto here, they're all gone, right? Everything is Spotify now. Or Apple, whatever, right? All that bullshit.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like this is going to be the and then of course the Netflix, the Disneys, the Hulus, the Amazon Primes, all these things, right? That's what's moving everything forward. So I could see them doing that. And like once again, it gives the devs a bit of breathing time, and then they're able to do faster turnarounds on fresh content as opposed to holy shit, we just finished. Look at Grand Theft Auto. It's 2021. It's been almost 8 years.
And it spanned 3 generations, baby.
Okay? Jesus Christ. Like, come on already. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then that's also from the success of GTA Online. But still, the point is, you know, when are we going to wait for Grand Theft Auto 7 when I'm at a fucking retirement home? You know what I mean? I'm going to be 83 years old going, oh, God, that GTA 7's ready. You know? Like, so I think that's going to be the model moving forward. I mean, it's just a prediction. I might be wrong, but hey.
I hope it is for fresh content more sooner than later, but I think that works for certain games. Like Forza, in my opinion, hasn't changed since they've made it. I tried playing it and I don't know. I got bored after an hour. So I think fresh content in that sense, yeah, every 3 months, every 6 months, maybe every year, a big update. But there's some games where I rather them take the 4-year time period to create it, because new ideas and expanding what they create the first game is kind of what breeds in those games. So
no, but yeah, I gotta answer a couple questions in the chat here. Yeah, a simulation game like Little Big Workshop or something, which I beat the hell out of, by the way, up and down, left and right. I love that little game. And Axel Gaming, to answer your question, why don't I ever see you playing Flight Simulator? Because I downloaded it on my PC and I cannot figure out the damn controls to that goddamn thing. I do not play on mouse and keyboard. Let me tell you, that was like
plug up your controller, man. Plug up your controller.
I've yet to try that yet with my PC, but damn, I was like, why?
My PC would cry when I tried downloading it. It'd be like, hello.
It downloaded slow as nuts.
That's the worst of PC.
But one good simulation game from Microsoft during this 2021 would be awesome for me. I don't know about you guys. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you agree with me, a 2 if you think Titan's a fraud, and if you put a 2, you got to say Smite sucks or something like that.
All right. Well, we're halfway through the show, guys. Again, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Aaron Gentry, how are you? Welcome to Gaming After Dark. Who else did we miss here, guys? Iceman's still hanging out with us here. Doggy Dog, Toolman 55, Dreadpool's here. Spider-Man 356, Custode Zix, Terrence Tate. The list goes on. Spooky Sprocket, what's going on? No Shizno tonight. That's kind of weird. Harry Numbat still here. What's going on? Yeah. So, but anyway, halfway through, let's get to the Ask Arnold segment of the night. Then we'll get into some more topics. So I'll let the panel go first if they have a particular question, and we'll try to catch up with the chat. I think, like I said, Jesse had one earlier, which I will try to address right away here. But let's let the panel and perhaps our guests have a crack at see what Arnold's going to say this week. Anyone?
Hey, Arnold, instead of Lucasfilm, would you rather Microsoft or Xbox start making Arnold franchises, and which one would it be?
Of course, it'd be great if they would come out there and it would make Arnold franchises. I mean, the Terminator is the one that comes to mind, but I really think that overall, something like Conan the Barbarian would be a great franchise to go back to. It was an R-rated series back in the day, the great movies. And, I mean, at my age now, I really can't swing the sword very great, but you know what? I could still get into and bang the ladies. So it'd be like Conan the Bed Conqueror. I just take them all to bed. and I get my minions to do the dirty work. It'll be a great franchise. Any other questions for Arnold?
Arnie, what upgrades do you need for your cybernetics?
The upgrades for the cybernetics. Well, it always helps to have, breast implants if you want to be more, be more realistic, especially if you're going down the feminine route to have them ready there. And I mean, of course, lots of circuitry, lots of great boards, stuff like that, and make sure your processor runs a little bit better than the Virtual Boy and Nintendo. That sort of thing. So yeah, just you got to get a great cybernetic, manufacturer behind you there to get it done right.
All right, Arnie. So what was up with the maid, man? You got to tell us.
Well, you know what it is kind of crazy because, they're soon going to nickname me Orange because I was going to call her the Minute Maid. A minute in, a minute out. That is what fucking is all about. To do it. Let's go. Really not much to say there. I try to keep my private life private, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so that's all I can really tell you there. Listen, Jesse Darby's got a question in the chat. My favorite movie in my career. Well, I mean, there's so many great movies. I mean, I'm not going to list the Kindergarten Cop, nothing like that. Rubber Baby Bobby Bunkers. But, obviously for me, the standard, it's got to be Terminator. I mean, fuck, I didn't even have to remember my lines. I think what they come in to say, it's Sarah Connor. That's pretty much it. And I'll be back. I mean, it was great. I didn't have to worry about the lines. I just had to show up. And did you know that when I originally was signed to do the Terminator, James Cameron, he wanted me to actually be the good guy. He wanted me to be Kyle Reese, but I persuaded him to do otherwise and let me be the Terminator, and I think it worked out pretty good. I mean, you had a great shot of my ass, first scene in the movie. I'm walking along, there's a fucking garbage truck, and there I am. I mean, all in my glory and my buff back when I was young and vibrant, and you got to see my hard ass. I mean, it's great. I mean, the women went crazy. The guys couldn't stand me. It was fucking awesome.
Arnold, what simulators do they have for Titan Drago in the future?
Simulators for Titan Drago in the future. Well, it's going to be simulators of sound. They're going to put him in the sound room. They're going to piss him off, probably by telling him the Smite sucks, and then he's going to absolutely go fucking crazy in there. And we're going to stick him in a little simulator, just all war zone. You know what I mean? And we're just pissing him off with the people with the crappy fucking guns and the cheaters, and we're just gonna wait for Titan to go on these epic rants, and he's just gonna be in there yelling into the microphone. We're going to get these great fucking sound bites from him, and then we're going to launch them into space so the alien colonies can hear him. It's gonna be great.
Stay away, aliens.
They will not come to Earth when they hear Titan Drago going on about Smite and his rants, and they're gonna fuck that shit. I'm not going down there.
Arnold, when do we play Terminator?
Christ almighty, Reppin' the 10. You've already played me how many times now? Robocop versus Terminator, Terminator 2, the arcade game. How many more times do you want to play with my metal alloy? Come on, there's been lots of games out there. No, I would love to see a new game. I mean, there was one that came out last year from, a lesser-known developer. The crazy thing is the game was good, but it didn't even have me in it. I said, what the fuck? I mean, Mortal Kombat came out. They didn't get me to do the voice. And they make a fucking Terminator game, and it doesn't have me in there. I'm like, what is going on? You guys don't like me, but you love Stallone. You get him in everything.
Do you have a phone number that they can reach you by?
Yeah, it's called 1-800 Go Fuck Yourself. Call it. All right. We'll take one more question here. One more question.
Hey, Arnie, who has bigger pecs, you or Stallone?
Well, unless you're absolutely blind, you got to see that I've got the bigger pecs. That sort of thing. I've also got the biggest specs. You look at my top movies, are bigger grossing than Sly. I've always been on top. I've been number one. I've been on top of the maid. I've been on top of the movie industry. I'm everywhere. I'm great. I mean, no disrespect to Sly. He's an amazing guy. He's great and stuff like that. But fuck, I've got a ranch and I've got donkeys. I mean, what more do you want? I've got a great movie career. And they still make me in the movies now. They make me young. They do all the CGI. It's kind of like having a computer version of a facelift. I look good all the time. I love it. It's great. All right, guys, that's great. There you go. There's Arnie for this
Shout
week.
out.
Thank you very much. All right. He's not employed by Skynet. Let's move right along, guys. That was a good segment this week. Good shit. Let's talk about Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory, I think we can all say, is definitely one of the best acquisitions that Microsoft certainly made in the last 2 years. I mean, while we haven't seen much from them yet, we do know that Hellblade 2: Senua Saga is coming out, and from the little glimpse that we saw, hopefully it's going to be amazing. But one that was kind of shown off early and it's kind of disappeared off into the background, it's kind of coming to the forefront thanks to GameSpot, is that one called Project Mara. Now, I don't really know a ton about the game, but based on the graphics, they show it in-game and then basically in-engine graphics, and they're absolutely dynamite. It's the kind of graphics that we've been screaming for when it comes to next gen, like near photorealism, literally like pixel for pixel kind of deal. It's just crazy. I know the game does star Malika Jurgens, who does Senua itself. She's in this particular game. They will have her rendered to absolutely photorealistic quality. What do you guys, what's your impression of this game? We know very little about it, but do you also think that, Ninja Theory is going to be that one studio that really elevates Microsoft this generation and kind of shows off what these series consoles can do? And anyone can take the floor on this.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on this one. Sorry, go ahead, Rep.
You got it.
Go, Meg.
I was just going to say, you know what? I think that what Ninja Theory is going to be groundbreaking for Microsoft. I think that by far, just like you said, Noof, I think that they're going to be their absolutely best. They're the best acquisition they've had thus far. And I think that we're going to see the fruits of those labors from Hellblade 2 and on. And we've already seen it with Hellblade 1, right? Of how amazing it was and whatever else. But the thing is, that Hellblade 2 is going to be a much bigger experience. Now, the one thing that tipped me off to thinking that this was going to be more like an experimental game, which is very cool, is that it's called Project Mara. It's not just, this is the name of the game.
Right.
And so by calling it Project, it sounds to me like it's an experimentation. But what I think it's going to be is going to be an air quotes experience as opposed to a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, were you able to walk through and whatever else? It is going to be absolutely stunning, and it's going to show us what, the technology moving forward. I watched the video 2 times already, and seeing even just like the dust particles on the, like underneath like the refrigerator in the kitchen and stuff. Like, it's absolutely stunning. It's only going to take place in that one apartment. So, it's going to be a very closed experience. You're not going to be able to go explore outside. It's not that kind of a game. I think, like I was just saying, it might be like a 3 to 5 hour experience that you might be able to play multiple times for maybe different endings or different experiences depending on how you interact with the world. So that's what I'm kind of seeing what this is. I'm excited to see it, but again, I just want to my warning shot to the fans out there and to the chat and everybody else. This is not going to be a game.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be, like I said, an experience.
Okay.
That's a great way to sum it up. Go ahead, Bomber.
Because honestly, yeah, I'm kind of with you there because it is going to be an experience, and they've already kind of showed previous to this was, the short clip of like some type of ghost / being or something that scares her. So I think it's going to be like that experience of like I probably won't be able to play this game. I can't freaking play Resident Evil 7. So I doubt like I'm gonna probably start this game and go, yep, nope, I'm out, and like really quick. But I'll just be like, hey, it looks pretty good. All right, I'm out. But I'm with Mag though, 100%. It's going to be this experience that you will not forget. It'd be one because it's going to look lifelike, and just the fact of we know we're going to see her act her ass off. Because she is phenomenal. We saw that with Senua in the first one. The second one's going to be, probably.
Well, look how much. What was that? What was that little Silent Hill kind of game that was just? It wasn't even really a game. It was just that like almost a little demo.
Yeah, the demo.
But like a lot of people played the shit out of that and really loved it. It was kind of a great. Showcase of what maybe the next Silent Hill could have potentially been, and people really loved it. I forget the name. I know somebody in the chat is definitely. Sorry?
Wasn't it called PT, like playable
P-
teaser?
P- PT, yes.
Yeah.
So I think that basically that's what they're going for. It's just kind of more of a technological showcase of where we're going with the tech that we currently have, or at least what their studio potentially is capable of. But I think the other thing that most people are missing out on is if you read through the article and stuff, is they're developing a specialized technology through their engine where they're going to do procedurally generated items. So they're trying to take the massive workload out of making photorealistic stuff, like doing it for every item. Instead, it'll be almost like what did you call it? There's basically like to have everything sort of stored in memory, so you can just kind of basically procedurally pop
data
stuff in when you
bank,
want it.
essentially.
A data bank of graphical stuff. So if you want to make a glass, why would you have to recreate, say, photorealistic glass in every single game from scratch when you can already have it built and just populate your worlds with these fantastically photorealistic items? You know what I mean? Like it makes perfect sense, and it could definitely speed up game development in the future. Because if there's one thing I think the big crutch in this industry right now is game development is notoriously slow. So they need to tie up less resources to a lot of these things, and they need something like this for the entire industry, not just for one studio, but even if it's something they license out and people can utilize it, so that they can really speed up the hit the ground running on a lot of games by having these assets readily available. I think that would be huge.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, Noof. First of all, I don't know how you really give a trophy, to the best acquisition that Microsoft has made these past couple years, because they've all been crazy, in each in their own rights, from Ninja Theory with all what they're coming forward with, and then you got Obsidian, who they're just they're like a foundry, they're just churning out games apparently. But I love having Mag on this show because even he just opened my eyes with this, absolutely attention to detail, which what I'm sure like most of us just overlook, and that's the name itself. Project Mara. And you know what, I want to, before I get into my thing, I kind of just want to dodge the usual hate for Xbox games here, because I'm already seeing, let's push aside the fact that it's only in an apartment. It's only in an apartment, right? People that hate Xbox hate this game because it directly attacks what the PlayStation has been consistently better at, and that's graphics, right? However, on a small scale apartment, right? Like, I think the real story here is what Noof you've kind of touched on, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit more in depth, and that's with the tools that Ninja Theory has developed with creating this game, right? And Mag started to say it as well, like Project Mara, right? They're creating all these tools that, like, literally, like you look at a picture of real life to what they created, and it's like, if you take out those words, you cover up those words, real life or, in engine, you can't tell the difference. And that's absolutely impressive. Like Ninja Theory, to me, it's like lining itself up as like the most forward-thinking acquisition Xbox has made, because like you said, Xbox, the studios will work with each other. So this Project Mara is like, breaking ground with peaks of graphics performance, right, for the foreseeable future. It's going to be at the peak of all the graphics, right? What other game is looking better than this? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's one thing that I think we can all agree on, is that they have the talent. Like, they have immense talent. I mean, for a smaller studio, I mean, if you even look at the amount of people that did Hellblade, it's just insane. Very small group did that game, and it looks magnificent, and it has great sound design, that sort of stuff, and most of the hate simply because, again, Microsoft bought them out. Up until that, they were like one of the golden childs of PlayStation. Everybody raved about Hellblade when it was a PlayStation exclusive for how long, but the moment it shifted hands and went over to Xbox, and Xbox buys them up, Ninja Theory never really made a good game anyway.
And we already had that
it's the same fucking shit every time.
And
right?
then you get Bleeding Edge, and then that's when they kind of laughed. And I mean, It's understandable.
Bleeding Edge was a side project that they published.
Absolutely.
Like I said, we're going to see a lot of that this day with Game Pass
Oh, yeah.
needing content. We're going to see great stuff, but we're going to see some of the lesser stuff too. That perhaps years ago would have been just a game that was on the cutting room floor that never saw the light of day. We will see more of that, and you have to expect that. I think Bomber. I think you related to it earlier. Is one of the things about game you were talking about AAA games and what defines games. Well, I think gamers have got to stop defining the games like our movie industry, for example. There is room for your Oscar-winning movies, and there's room for your popcorn blockbusters in the summer. But at the end of the day, they're all movies, and nobody really gives a shit. There's room for everything, and you can't have one without the other. Like for every fantastic movie that comes out, how many like kids movies come out that are absolutely fucking shit, but they come out because there's a market for them, and games are not much different.
Yep, agreed.
I agree.
I think Ninja Theory has the most are the biggest opportunity to establish themselves as one of the top developers, just because of what they did with Hellblade, and Hellblade 2 is going to be a really big one for them. They have to knock that out the park, and if they do, and I believe they will, they're going to be known for one of those big timer developers,
banger creators, Yeah, you're absolutely right, Noof. And if this wasn't under the Xbox umbrella, everyone would be honoring it, promoting it, giving it credit where it's due. They'd be like, it's just another PlayStation exclusive. It's got all these amazing graphics. But if you haven't seen this, do yourself a favor. If you haven't watched the developer interview for Project Mara, watch it and just be prepared to be amazed. You can't tell the difference between game and real life, because these tools they've created, they're legitimate next gen tools and those are going to be expanded upon. We can't forget, with every advancement in technology, like every advancement has to start somewhere and then become expanded upon, right? And you know what? I think like this game is going to start in an apartment, but it's going to open up the doors for like the future of games. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I thought when they first showed the trailer, I thought they were showing their studio. That's how good it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I was like caught off guard when I seen the game. I was like, oh, whoa, hold up. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. This is all a real, it is a real
in-engine.
And then they have the in-engine. Now, of course, I always get mad at in-engine because we all know that typically every time they show in-engine, it never, ever looks like that when you actually play a game. But this one could be different because of the scale and all that good jazz. So,
there's different ways around that, and you got to pay attention to the detail. It depends on how they state it, because like some games will say, well, this is in-engine gameplay, or they'll just say this was created in an engine. Like that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you guys see that amazing video of Flight Simulator from about 2 weeks ago, where the guy actually took the real life camera footage of the plane and then put it up next to Flight, and you almost can't tell the difference except for there's no turbulence. But if you didn't see the real life, you'd be like, holy fuck! You're like, am I looking at the real world here? Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones I really cannot wait for it to come to console, because this will be the first time that franchise has ever thought about leaving PC. So I'm ready to try it, because my PC can't even load the freaking exe file. So yeah, I'm definitely ready to see it.
I want to buy it just so I can play it for my friends and watch the look on their faces when we fly to places in the fucking world and the places that they visit and go, holy shit, like it looks like I'm there.
Yep, absolutely.
I hope they make the controls very controller friendly though, because my God, on PC it's like, what the hell? But Isaiah YouTube, yeah, man, the same girl play. Yep, you're right. And one thing I did notice, like from the Hellblade footage that we saw, I liked her. I thought she looked much more realistic in the Hellblade footage than in Project Mara. Like Project Mara definitely had the aesthetics of the environment, top notch, can't be beaten. But as far as her face, the Hellblade 2 trailer was like, wow, that her face in that trailer was like the apartment to me.
I think that though that build is a lot older. Like the Hellblade 2 is a much newer build of the rendering there. If I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I have no idea about that, but either way, I mean, they each have like if you could marriage those two together, man, my God, which I'm sure they will.
My last thought on this, too, guys, and this is going to be a real eye opener, and I really can't wait. So when Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice 2, when Hellblade 2 comes out, it's going to be really interesting. I'm pretty sure the graphics are going to be better. I'm pretty sure the game is going to be a lot longer. I'm pretty sure that the combat mechanics and things that perhaps people had a gripe with in the first game will probably be remedied and be much smoother and probably a lot more options. But how much do you guys want to lay down and bet right now that for every one of those media places that love the first game that were giving it 9s and 10s and 9.5s, how much do you want to bet that the second game comes out and it scores 7s or perhaps 8s?
No, it's the ones that gave it a 10. They're gonna be drastically different.
Yeah, like I guarantee you Hellblade 2 scores lower than the first Hellblade, even though it's going to be a better game in every regard. I'd be willing to put money on it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to all depend on, I guess, how, like, if they go strictly from the first one into the next one, because that's basically how that's supposed to go. So yeah, I wonder, like, as long as it just like seamlessly just transitions to this next one, like you're like basically you pick it up, you're like, yes, this is the same game, but of course it's in Unreal Engine 5. It's gonna have all the textures, all the next gen stuff, ray tracing, all that good jazz. So you're gonna have it all basically. Yeah. I mean, in a sense, I feel like you would think that you're not gonna have any issues. I mean, look at freaking Flight Sim. I mean, it got
IGN. Senua is a little too crazy now. -2 points.
Yeah.
I mean, overambitious, beautiful game.
Overambitious, good one.
But
too much A button.
Too much A button.
Too much
Norse panting.
I'll tell you, I hope someone on Twitter takes screenshots from like the quotes of the first Hellblade reviews and then puts, and of the reviewer themselves, and then post right next to it, the Hellblade 2 review and the words for each one, and watch the contrast.
Yeah, how it started, how it's going.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. Guaranteed. I can feel it in my bones already, and that's got to be a real discouraging thing. And I bet there's people at Microsoft that are probably fucking aware of the same shit too, that are just like, oh boy, like, you know what I mean?
I don't know if they really care, to be honest.
No, as long as it sells. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all they care about.
Well, plus, I don't know. I just feel like Ninja Theory is just granted, we've only seen Hellblade, we've only seen Bleeding Edge as far as their latest titles. So it's like, okay, those are they run smoothly. One looks really good. The other one looks good for what it is for the few people that made it. So it's awesome. So. This title is definitely, it's almost like the 343 in a way. It's like it's going to make or break them. If they screw this up and they don't do it right by, what everybody wants them to do in a sense, that could hurt them. Maybe it is a beautiful game, but then the mechanics are still crap. You know what I mean? So it's hopefully it's great, and hopefully we just get even better sound and fidelity through the whole entire game, like we did with the first one, just times 10.
All you keep hearing in your headset,
Wait, I got turned down my viewport. I'm sorry.
What's that new sword she has?
She got that from Cyberpunk.
Wouldn't that be something if somebody just popped that into game like like first thing you pick up in the corner is like a fucking dildo or something? Homage to Cyberpunk. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I'll tell you this much though, from the looks of Hellblade 2, it does not look like this chick took a turn for the better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, no, exactly.
Damn, shit got dark real quick.
Well, she's been through a lot of stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, absolutely.
Any final thoughts on this one?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. I think it's safe to say that between the Coalition and Ninja Theory, Xbox definitely has got some fantastic studios, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, baby, right there. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's move on down the line.
Comments like, oh man, I'm gonna let you guys have it on this video.
Let's talk about just real quick. Tsunobu Itagaki, for those of you who don't know, his name was synonymous with Ninja Gaiden and Team Ninja. So keeping with that ninja theme going right now. Well, he has a new studio. They're going to be working on various projects. But in a latest article, he kind of has stated that he has fond memories of working with Microsoft back on the original Xbox and would be honored to basically work with them again on some capacity. And we know that Microsoft is in the business of perhaps acquiring studios. And I think it would be a fantastic move to bring him into the fold. But who knows? We don't know. I mean, obviously there was a shitstorm why Itagaki left Ninja Theory. It didn't leave on very good terms. It was kind of publicly touted. Some people say he had a big ego. He was basically thought himself as a rock star. So was he too big for this studio? Was the studio just had different reasons? Perhaps he priced himself out of the market, wanted it too much. We don't really know. At least I certainly don't know. Maybe you guys do. But let's go to the panel. And do you think bringing Tomonobu in perhaps in his studio would be a good fit for Xbox? Anybody? Meg?
I'll tell you what. Is this isn't the guy that made Bright Memory Infinite, is it?
Nope.
No.
I'll tell you what.
No.
Hire that guy. Okay. One man show over there. Now that guy's got some room to talk some trash. Like this guy made this Bright Mirror Infinite game all by himself, supposedly. Hire that guy. That's my opinion.
I thought, you know what? I think it's more what I found more interesting about what he said is not about the whatever game he's going to be working on or what studio the studio that he's building or anything else like that. It's what he said that I found interesting is he said Microsoft is very aggressive right now. So this is somebody who's in the industry, right? So obviously word is out that Microsoft is nowhere near done picking people up. That's what I pulled from that conversation that he had. And the interesting thing is this is a Japanese developer. So that also is even more interesting to me. Never mind what he's going to be working on. I'm more interested in that sentence alone was piqued my interest going, my God, what's going on? Like, I mean, I know that, Phil used to make trips over there pre-COVID, of course, to Japan and all the other stuff and whatever. But now they're doing it all, through Zoom calls and everything else. How aggressive is Microsoft? And what are they, who are they trying to get? Who are they trying to woo into Xbox Game Studios? That's what I'm interested in. So when he said that Microsoft is very aggressive right now, and this is coming from a Japanese developer, that means to me that Microsoft has been very aggressive in Japan. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the way I see it. And of course, across the board, which we've seen. So I don't think Microsoft is done. And I think that if they can get something in check with this guy, I think that they should pick it up. I mean, pick him up. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, didn't they want more representation from the Japanese market? And on top of that, you want those IPs that represent the Japanese market. Something that could also be, of course, marketed in Japan and in South Korea, okay, and in, pockets of China where they're actually allowed to game. Western games anyway. And anyways, the point is they're trying to open up that market with xCloud. What better way to do that with someone who's famous for, Ninja Gaiden is extremely, that's a huge franchise. Okay. And it's a franchise that people are still playing. Now, you guys played Ninja Gaiden Black on the Game Pass or whatever that came out recently. It looks unbelievable still. Unbelievable.
Yes.
So that's what I could see. I think that they would maybe jump on an opportunity like this to get, a new IP, and maybe B, to be able to revisit some of those other ones so that they can, like I said, once again, open up that Asian market to the xCloud.
Yes, they've been trying to get their foot in that door for I don't know how long. And if that guy is over here saying, hey, buy me, go buy him. Get in there and expose yourself even better. And Xbox
Bill doesn't have to expose himself. Sorry.
Hey,
just offer the money.
There's a market for that. No, Xbox has a really big opportunity to add a beat 'em up genre too, minus the one that Ninja Theory made. What do you got? What's that game? Killer Instinct. They're kind of slacking on a new one. So I think if they can get something with all the IP of Xbox and all the new characters that they're creating, they need that. And I don't know. I didn't really play Dead or Alive, but if that guy, if he's the guy that made that game or helped make that game, then that can be something they kind of push towards that.
Yeah, he made the original games. Yeah, I don't know if he worked on that last one, the last one that came out, but he certainly did the first couple of Dead or Alives.
Yeah, and I played that when I was a kid, so I remember back then it was really fun, and I know that they definitely have a open slot for that type of genre right now. So I think that would be a perfect buy.
Do you guys think that Team Ninja can make a good Ninja Gaiden game without Tamanobu? Because a lot of people think not, because he did Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, obviously the black one and whatever, and the Sigmas, but he was not involved in Ninja Gaiden 3, right? The Dark Sword or whatever you call it, the Blood Sword or whatever the fuck his name is. But Ninja Gaiden, he wasn't involved in that one. So and a lot of people didn't like that game nearly as much. What do you guys think? Do you think Mag, continue on with you? Do you think that they can still make a great game without him?
Yeah, of
And
course
do you think Tamanobu might make a game similar to that, obviously with a different name, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. I mean, of course, they could still make a Ninja Gaiden game without him. I mean, what's the best way to learn from your experiences is from a bad experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if people didn't gravitate towards the third installment, or technically fourth installment, of the series, then you learn from those mistakes. You find out what worked, what didn't work, and then you work from that. You move from there. That's all pre-production stuff. That's stuff that people sit down before they even have storyboards. Okay, or even any sketches of character sketches or anything. They sit down and they say what worked, what didn't work, right? So I mean, I have absolute faith that they could do it without him. However, I do also think that maybe if he does do something, he's not going to go revisit that franchise right away. He obviously has a new idea, and he obviously has something moving forward. So I say let him go nuts. Don't go Kojima nuts. Okay, we're like where
don't
the guy,
go send you a Kojima.
Yeah. Like he's a little bit off the wall. I mean, a little bit. He's a lot off the wall, and he's extremely eccentric and stuff like that. Like, make sure the guy's working and keep him in line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want the guy walking around the office.
Don't give him what Rare's taking.
He's like, I'm bigger than Microsoft now.
We don't need that. We don't need him screaming at interns going, I want my coffee with urine in it. Like really weird Kojima shit, right? Bring me the tears of children.
Yeah, right.
That's
a much better one.
But you know what? He obviously has a new idea, because this has obviously given him inspiration to fire up a studio, right? You don't just do that for shits and giggles.
Yeah, and then he's like, please purchase me so you can fund me. Please. Well, I have this great thing. I mean, come on.
That sounds kind of desperate, though.
No, exactly. You do sound desperate, but you also know that Microsoft wants to throw that money out. So, hey, I'm game, baby. Come here. Yeah. I'm Jack. Come here. You get in this market, too.
Oh, it definitely was friends.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like,
he sounds like Cliff Blazinski, for Christ's sake. Like,
dude, he's like, hey, man. Yeah, Cliff was like, "Hey man, happy birthday! We need to hang out sometime."
Yeah, they call me. He's like the desperate, like stage 5 clinger ex-girlfriend. That's
great. It's so great.
And he's just like, "Hey, happy birthday, Phil! Call me."
Yeah,
like, I was standing outside your window last night, Phil. I left, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I left you a few ideas of Gears of War under your doormat.
It was so good.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this guy obviously had some kind of inspiration.
True.
And then he's going to use this opportunity. I mean, look at it. It's opportunism at its best. You have something that you want to work on. You have the inspiration to do it. No one just wakes up one day and just goes, oh, yeah, I'm just going to build a studio. Like, nobody just does that. He obviously has reason to. But again, he sees opportunity. So what do? You throw your name out there. I mean, you're doing a little name dropping anyway, because you did work with Microsoft in the past. So he's using that as a foot in the door, right? That's a brilliant move. That's what I do.
Smart. Hell yeah.
That's how you get attention with the elite.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, Phil Spencer did a lot of talk about getting a Japanese developer, right?
Oh, dude, for many years.
And I mean, did I miss them? Did I miss Xbox acquiring a Japanese dev?
One from ZeniMax.
Yeah, just the ZeniMax one. The guys that are wearing Ghostwire Tokyo.
And you know what? And I don't think that's what he was referring to.
No, I don't
right?
think so either.
So, and you know what? Because my point is, everything Phil Spencer has set his mind to, this guy gets, right? Like, name me one thing that Phil Spencer has said he was going to do and not come through with. Okay?
VR.
Oh, well.
Okay.
All right. Well, touche.
Good one, Bomber.
All right. Well, fucking Bomber just shut my segment down.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's great.
All right. Well, besides that,
Somebody say it.
I'm sorry. I had to.
well, you're just giving the anti-Titan Drago trolls ammunition
I
right
know,
now.
right? I know it, damn it. I know it.
Stop it, Titan. The beard has spoken.
The beard
Yeah,
is-
right. God damn, I gotta search that beard for info.
Right now.
Tango.
Listen
That's
to
the studio.
Titan, this fraud, say Phil Spencer's not a failure, and then the clip. Boom.
No,
But
I mean
you
he
know
didn't
what?
fail. It's just things change. I mean it's it was something that was unfortunately overpromised and just underdelivered, and just they couldn't deliver it. So they said sorry, got pushed out like Scalebound. I mean, granted that was Platinum Games screwing up, whatever, that's fine. Nothing to do really with Microsoft particularly. So the VR thing though, yeah, that was an issue. They're still not even talking about that yet, which honestly, in my mind, I'm happy about it, because I'd rather them focus on the shit they need to get fixed, which is bring us games that we need, that the gamers want, and fill that void. And then once you fill that void and everybody's like, hell yeah, we finally are getting games, and we're really good games or quality games, or possibly get, I mean, granted, I know people are just always about this, but maybe we get a couple of game of the year, games that Microsoft finally brings out that's actually on a list that somebody says, yes, that should be a game of the year.
Well, look at the
And this-
360. 360 was barreling right along, right? It was plugging right into the fucking generation until all of a sudden Microsoft said, make everything for Kinect. Everyone goes Kinect, and then fucking
And NFL.
fell off a cliff. Right?
Yeah.
No, true.
To Titan's point too, if you guys pay attention to Phil, he ever since he took over, he's been dropping little hints at everything that he's obviously done now and he's doing at the moment, and what he's going to do in the future. So if you guys have been paying attention, he just was talking on a podcast with Major Nelson about New Horizons. He does this so much that if you're not paying attention to these New Horizons that he's talking about now, give it 3 years from now when those New Horizons start, showing, we're gonna think back. Okay, Phil just did it again. He just mentioned stuff 3 years ago then that he just made come to life, because he has a vision and he makes it come true. And I'll say this right now, he saved Xbox, because Xbox was in a downward trend and they were just losing their vision. And I think our promoting that guy to take over has been the best thing for them, because like Titan said, he does what he says he's going to do.
And little hints, such little hints, as far as having the Series S in the background of an interview, right? Yeah. That little hints, like now it's got me and Bomber freaking zooming into 200%.
Dude, absolutely. Hey, I'm telling you, Bethesda's making NCAA something football. I mean, it was a football sitting back there. I'm just saying.
There was the football. There was a Lord of the Rings book.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, if you zoom in, I'm telling you, you zoom in 200% on his hair. There's actually,
hey, no, they have the perfect sim for you. It's a hairstylist one.
If you guys see a box of condoms in the back of Phil's fucking dresser, you know what that means? The price
Larry
of fucking
Schuler.
Game Pass is going up because we're going to get fucked. Hey, I'll let you get back to your thoughts. I got a super chat that I missed earlier from the doctor. He dropped $5 in the super chat and says, favorite Star Wars line to the panel. So it's a great question. I don't know if I have a favorite line.
The credits.
Credits. Who has a favorite Star Wars line? Anybody have a
Luke,
verse?
I am your father. Bam. That's mine.
Anybody, Mag, you got a favorite one?
Oh, no. I got another one that I actually use in my school. And it's, how does it go? Yoda says it, and he goes, it's where he's talking to Luke. He goes, failure. Yes, failure. The greatest teacher failure is. I love that one as well.
Right. I like anything that Yoda says. Can be almost just about any line. Just because the way he says everything is kind of like sort of backwards. It's fucking fantastic. It sounds like, fuck you, I will. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I've done so many Yoda impressions that I feel like I type at work. I'm typing Yoda text, and I'm like, oh shit, hold up, let me reverse what I'm about to say. But other than Yoda, I got a bad feeling about this because I say that every day. I literally say that every day. So
Failure is a strong lesson. It is. Fired you are.
I definitely don't have a line because I'm not a Star Wars geek, so I couldn't even tell you a line out of those movies. But other than the credits, that's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
Like, movies
Tequila
go.
Trans in the chat. Do or do not. There is no try. That's probably one of the most popular lines. Good one right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you guys
happened-
talking about? Star Wars lines? I stepped away for a minute.
Yeah. What happened to you? He stepped into the Sarlacc pit for a second.
Yeah,
there.
I
we
did.
know
step into
we
Starlight
know
Pit.
Mag got one of these.
Mag, think of your favorite Star Wars quote while I hit up Dreadpool here. Said VR and skip. Now VR, I'm gonna give you that has not come to fruition yet. And right now the ball is laying on the floor with VR right now, just sitting there. But Scalebound, that was more of a developer fail in my opinion.
That was all platinum.
Yeah.
Guys. That's straight up.
My Star Wars quote that I use it at work all the time, and it's my favorite. It's from Return of the Jedi, and it's got to be the Emperor. Is when he says to Luke, he says, "It is you who are mistaken about a great many things." That's my favorite Star Wars line.
Nice.
That was good.
He practiced that 1,000,000 times.
Oh yeah.
He was on mute practicing.
I like when Darth Vader comes in. He's like, "Tear this ship apart." I just like that line. Tear this ship apart.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, Mac,
good
I'm
one.
gonna put a song together. Me and you are gonna sing it together, man. We're gonna put out a YouTube video on my channel.
Hey, I'm all down with that. But this one is like, I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. That's another good one.
Yeah, you get nothing, Mag.
But you don't like the ones from Jar Jar Binks? Misa
Oh,
Gungan.
shit.
Misa like you. Ah.
Jesus.
Hello, Ernie.
Oh, geez, stop, please.
The best words impression I heard.
Hey, I never said I could do all impressions well. Oh God. All right, where were we? We're finishing off this topic. Who else had a chance to speak on this shit?
Shit, who are we talking about?
What were we talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
Fucking hey, we went on a Scalebound VR.
We did. I think we're talking about the dude man that making
The
Japanese coming over doing this
Gaki, yes, and
selling his virginity to Microsoft, whatever. I don't know what he's doing.
The dude man.
Yes, the best quotes are always from Chewbacca. He should do commercials for like Scope or something. You know what I mean? Got bad breath.
Shit.
Oh fuck! All right. Oh, there you go. The doctor derailed us here. He says, "Yes, indeed." All right. Well, if we're down here, we can move on to the next topic, and then we're going to bring in the middle-aged game guy, and of course Tony Baloney. So. You want to go to the next topic, which would be the medium? Did you guys have a chance to kind of check out this sort of latest trailer? I mean, this game is on the verge of coming out. It's going to be free in Game Pass. If you're a horror action fan, this game looks like it's going to be pretty cool. What's your impressions of it? Anybody excited? What's your excitement meter level? That sort of thing. Anybody can jump on the floor on this one. I know I'm pretty excited about it, but I'll talk about it in a second. Who wants to take the wheels on the medium?
Someone else have at it.
You know,
I'll make it quick.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Reppin. Go ahead.
I'll make it quick. I'm gonna play it because of Game Pass.
Mhm.
Okay. But I don't play scary. I'm a big pansy when it comes to this shit. I game at night, so if I'm not shooting somebody or if I'm not playing like Assassin's Creed, I'm not playing a game because everything else is like these nightmare games, and I play in the dark. I stream, so the last thing I want to do is sit here, be in the dark, and see somebody standing behind me because I'm playing the medium with this girl with the cracked mask and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to play it just because I want to check it out. I want to see what the hype is about it because I hear a lot about it. But maybe an hour, and then I'm going to delete it.
I'm not sure. I gotta ask you guys a question because I'm not sure. Is this game going to be played? You know, like that game A Way Out where the screen is split the whole time, or do you just see one segment and then like if you press a button it flips to the other? How does that work?
They've already said that most of the game is split because what you're doing in one side, the other side is what's being changed, and you're having to use either side to affect the other, and that's the reason why it will be split. But there are times where it won't be split whatsoever, and you will be going through the world in either of the sides, whether it be the supernatural world or your physical world. So
this is going to be the biggest problem ever.
Take. I mean, it's definitely a new take on everything. Like, I don't know how scary this game's going to be, especially with it being split like that and it being the weird third person, but kind of like almost old Resident Evil-esque, like the way they kind of have it panned out as well. Like, it just kind of, now granted, like what the thing that I didn't like is the fact that they kind of already showed the chick with the, little girl with the broken mask thing. I hate that they showed her because now I'm like, okay, I expect her, so she's not going to scare me when she pops up. Right. But maybe she does. Maybe it is a little bit more scary. I don't know. I don't do scary games. I'm 100% with Rep. Like I just don't do them. So I'll probably play it for a little bit again just to see how it is. Puzzle games also piss me off, so it's probably another reason why I probably won't play.
God damn, you used to puzzle? Shit.
Yeah. So I mean, puzzles and scary, I'm just like, I'll probably just kind of drop it. But then again, maybe it'll grab me. Hell, I don't know. I'm excited for something new at least, and that's what's got me excited is that it's new and I don't have to pay for it because I'm already got it in Game Pass. So that's that's a plus. Wow. But yeah, I mean that's my take on it so far.
I can tell you right now, this split screen style stuff is going to be the biggest dilemma for Noof Nukem since the left tit or the right tit. Anyway, go ahead, guys. Take the floor. Titan, you want in? Reppin', you got any more to say on that? Mag?
Yeah.
Mag's probably trying to get Coney Baloney on standby here.
No, I'm going to talk about it. I'm interested, but someone else in another podcast, I think it was, don't quote me on this, but I think it might have been Colt Eastwood, and he was talking about how, there's certain game mechanics where like you play like a Resident Evil game, but at the same time, you're also like, you're walking around, you're exploring, you're solving puzzles, that kind of stuff. But there's also a shooting mechanic to it, right? There's an action mechanic where like you actually have to, take out enemies, that kind of thing or whatever. And, it doesn't matter what kind of a video game it is. At some point, we're probably shooting or beating up something, right? In a game. What is this? Like, is this just going to be, exploring, interact with this, interact with that, where it's kind of like one of those, what's it called, the Walking Dead games or whatever, and you're just kind of walking around, you're just pressing things and this and that, whatever. I could find that interesting to a point. If the game is too long and there's nothing going on in terms of any kind of action mechanic, I could see that being problematic. I could see that being a little bit, maybe that sounds shallow of me, because I know that not every game you got to shoot everybody or you got to punch everybody in the face. But I mean, at the same time, like I could see it be like, oh man, it's a bit of a sludge. You know what I mean? It's be like, might get dragged down a bit, might be a little bit slow, might lose interest quickly after a while. Like, I mean, these are just, like I said, these are not entirely my feelings. These are just, I'm just, throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks here, because I'm not really 100% sure. Whereas, the big one, of course, I think it is in 2 days, they're going to be revealing Resident Evil 8. And that has got my interest peaked.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That's the big one, right? That's the big one for me. So, but you know what? I'm going to go off of what Rep was saying, is that I am playing it. I hate to say it, but I am playing it because of Game Pass. But if it wasn't for Game Pass, I wouldn't be buying it, to be quite honest, because I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about. You know what I mean?
They haven't even marketed this game. That's the sad
not
part.
really. That's the
it literally comes out in 9 days.
That's right. And they've barely marketed anything. And I'm like, I wouldn't buy it because I don't know anything about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a tried and true sort of franchise. It'd be like, if the game gets a 10 out of 10, it's something that you can't ignore. I get it. But as it stands right now, I'm only playing it because it's in Game Pass. That's my stance.
Do you guys think that it's going to benefit at all by being exclusively the Series X and the S, as Iceman pointed out in the chat? I mean, obviously, it's going to be running some major compute issues here. Essentially, probably, especially running a split screen where you got, dual layers of graphics and different rendering techniques happening, and almost like basically two games in one in a sense. How do you guys feel about that? Rep and Bomber, anybody want to just kind of jump in and weigh in on that? Do you think it's a good thing for the game that it is just next gen only?
Yeah, CPU wise, I think it's going to be a big a big step forward just because it's running, two versions of the game at once. Graphics wise, I already can see it because I've seen it already that the graphics aren't next gen, so for it to be the first truly next gen Xbox game, I don't think it's living up to par with how it looks. But CPU wise, I think it has the opportunity to do some really good things for how a game can be played. I don't like the double split screen thing, but I still think it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, it's always a good thing to me that any game is next gen only.
Yep.
Now, does it look like Project Mara? No, but it is doing Project Mara like things just differently, right? With this side by side, comparison thing in two different worlds. That is hard on a CPU. Let's not forget about that. Let's not, how many other games do this, right? Can you think of any? You might be able to think of one. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it's because this is so, it's taxing on the hardware itself. It takes a lot to push these two different instances at the same time at once. So, I mean, it's doing Project Mara things just in a different way. And I like it that it's only next gen only.
Yeah, I'm definitely with Titan on that one as far as only being next gen. It's just it's exciting to hear when a game is just next gen. Like, good, okay, finally they're just not even looking at the old school stuff because they know the old stuff's going to screw it up. You're going to have issues out of it, and it's just more time trying to get them to work right. So yeah, I'm all for it. Granted, graphically, is it going to be a showcase? That's going to look good. It's going to have ray tracing. It's going to have those extra features. It just doesn't, it's still what they said it was, Unreal Engine 4.15 or 4.25, some shit like that. Like, what the hell does that even mean? But I don't know.
But Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yeah, it's not 5. It's a little bit better than 4, I guess. So I mean, it may look great. I mean, honestly, when we finally see it in front of us, but the people, I already can see it because it's going to be 30 frames per second. Everybody's going to be, oh my God, the Series X can't run it. I'm like, even the devs even said they weren't targeting 60 frames because of what they were doing graphically with the CPU, with the split worlds. Like, there's a big difference between what they design, the design of the game, and probably the way the game's going to run. You're not going to you're not going to even need it in 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? Like, this game's going to be a slow, methodical game, I personally believe. And that's where I'm hoping, kind of like what Mag was saying. I'm kind of worried that it's going to be a snore fest. But then again, the story could be gripping and everything else about it could be where it just sucks you in. Because
but it can't be too long, dude.
No, it's not going to be a long. I don't see it being long. Like, maybe 10 hours. Yeah, it's very linear. Puzzles and stuff is what is going to make people either have a long gameplay or short gameplay, who can get through it the quickest or whatever. But yeah, I see it. I'm just happy that it's different. It's kind of like the Death Stranding thing, everybody shed on it because it's this, FedEx simulator. Well, it looks great. It has a lot of things in it that no other game has. It's cool. It's something different. It's not another first person walkthrough shooter. It's not it's just, it's different. And hey, I welcome it. Absolutely.
I'm glad you said that it's a slow, methodical game because you could get away with 30 frames per second. If you're not in a first person shooter mode where it really matters, if you're just like slow, methodical, everything looks really good around you, you can get away with that, right? Yeah. It just depends on how you kind of hide that. And I think this game's going to do a really, I don't think it's going to, I don't think you're going to really be able to tell that it's really, 30 frames per second, rather than the lock 60. But I do think if developers are not targeting 60 frames per second from here on out, like this game I can see because, hey, you're doing 30 frames per second on essentially two different screens, which, you put them together and you got 60 frames per second, right? But
the math.
Exactly.
Do math.
Yeah, do math.
We gotta get Bloober Team. I mean, full credit here for trying to do something different, right? I mean,
Hey, Bloober's knocking it out of the park, dude. That is one studio that I still don't understand how they're not a Microsoft team yet.
that is Bloober that's doing this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just had to make sure. But like you got to plot a lot of games. It's like, like you hear me sometimes. I don't know. Like I know the whole Death Stranding thing. A lot of people, especially in the Xbox community, we kind of shit on a little bit and we said our parts about it. But at the end of the day, like you got to do at least applaud developers for trying some new original ideas, even though they're fully aware that when they launch it too, that it might come out to a little bit of criticism or hate because it tries to do something different. Like I said about Animal Crossing, for example, like that's not my game. I just tried to get into it and couldn't do it, but I can understand why it's popular. And again, like I said, it's a gold mine for Nintendo, and obviously tons of people like it. So like, who am I to shit on something that somebody likes, even though it's not my bag? I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, they're trying something different. They're going for a different graphical look. Again, it takes a massive amount of compute to run a game of that fidelity with two screens going at the same time. We always seen that from multiplayer games, even way back in the day. It was a big reason why a lot of teams never did split screen multiplayer back in the day, because their games were too graphically intense. Like the multiplayer would have looked drastically toned down to make them run like 4-player split screen. We used to see that a lot back in the day. Some simpler games would, but anything like it's almost amazing that any of the Gears games had split screen at all, right? Just because of how insane the graphics were in those games. So, but you know what I'm saying? But kudos to them for trying something new, and hopefully it'll resonate with people enough that, they continue to push the envelope and do that. And Game Pass definitely is a huge boon for those developers that want to take a bit of a risk and don't have to fear the sort of the upfront failure, because Microsoft's there to support them and let them know that it's okay to do what you want to do, because the game is going to find its success one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, a game doesn't need to look like God of War to play it. I am open for this double world thing just to see how it plays. But if a game looks like Minecraft and it's fun, then I'm gonna play it. Like, that's the great thing about Xbox, I think, in general too. And I mean, just their overall studios and the way they look at the games is not all of them are trying to be a God of War. So the medium, I mean, I'll give them praise for what they're doing, because like I said, I think it's intriguing to see how this actually works and see how effective it can be.
It'd be kind of cool if it was actually 2-player and one person controlled one person on one side and one in the other. And if somebody did something fucked up on the left screen, it might totally screw up the way the guy plays on the right. You know what I mean? Like something like
sabotage the other guy.
Yeah, like, don't push that fucking button, man. And all of a sudden the elevator drops on your screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be freaking crazy?
That's content.
That'd be nuts, man. That would be just. I mean, obviously that would take like crazy design, but yeah, that'd be something like that would be really fucking crazy. Cool. All right. Well, any more particular thoughts on this? I think that's pretty much the last topic we have. We're going to get over to Tony Baloney, who's on standby, making his second appearance of 2021. Let me know, Tony, when you are in the room and ready to go, sir. Do you need some time?
No, Tony Baloney is here. Hold on a second. There he is. Oh, my goodness. And here's his pink champagne. Everybody, I hope you're all enjoying the show tonight, because we're having a great time. But let me tell you something. I got two things that are upsetting me today, and that'll be Tony's Baloney of the Week. First thing, repping the 10. You did a great job tonight. However, you did say you were a pansy when it came to horror games. Well, that makes two of you, because Titan Drago also happens to be a pansy, but for different reasons. Anyhow, the other thing I do not like, we were just talking about the medium. Who the fuck names their studio Blooba? Blooba sounds like the sound it makes when a fat guy falls down the stairs. Okay? It's utterly ridiculous. Who names it like that? It's like that stupid band from the 90s, Uba Stank. What the fuck is that? It sounds like a girl who hasn't showered in 4 days. Utterly ridiculous. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Chat, okay? And I'm not a fucking stenographer, okay? So everybody in the panel, you read me out some questions. I've been asked to come here today to talk about some dating advice for some of our friends in the chat. We got a lot of COVID stuff going on, a lot of single people. So anybody wants to ask Tony Baloney some dating questions, go right ahead. I'll just sit right here and wait.
I got one for you right now, Tony.
Oh, you do? Go for it.
I'm dying to throw this one at you, bro. Do you have any pre-game warm-ups before you go down on a chick?
Pre-game warm-ups before I go down and check. There is no such thing because I don't do it. Next stupid question.
What was Tony? What was the most condoms you've ever worn at one time?
Are you out of your mind? Condoms? They're for sailors. I'm from the 70s, baby. We don't wear condoms. Okay? The only thing that we wear, okay, is nothing. We don't do anything. We just go out there, and if you get pregnant, you get a disease, you just walk away, get a shot in the ass, and then you just go home. That's all there is to it. Condoms. Ridiculous. And plus, you could get HIV and live forever now. So what the hell's the difference? Next ridiculous question.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Tony Baloney, what's a great pickup line for us losers at the bar?
Perfect. Great question, actually. Great question. My perfect pickup line is I just pull out my penis. That's it. There's no other question. What are you going to do? I mean, you might as well just show the goods immediately. It'll save you $40 at the bar of buying her drinks and have her disappointed later. So she might as well see it from the get-go. If she likes what she sees, you sit down, and then you can have an evening.
I'd call that more of a pickup shtick.
Yeah.
Well, now.
Hey, your buddy Joe Dunmore's got a question for you in the chat.
Joe Dunmore? Go for it, brother.
Tony, how do you feel about dating ugly chicks?
Dating ugly chicks. Dating ugly chicks is my go-to. That's my mating call. Because you know what? Going after the hot chicks is way too much work. You know what? When it's 1:45 at the bar or 1:45 at the club or the lounge, the best thing to do is find the ugly chick crying in the corner. The next thing you know, you've got her at home. It's no problem at all. And then the next morning, she's probably going to make you breakfast and do your grocery shopping for you. It's perfect.
We got one more, I guess, for Tony.
All right,
Baloney
one more.
One more? Okay. One more is good, or you want more questions?
Just one more is good enough for me.
All right, one more. This one comes from It's All Right. I suppose it's All Right, or it could be Isaiah YouTube. I don't know. Titan pronounced it differently earlier. But I'm going to call it It's All Right. And he says, Tony, how do you feel about dating big, beautiful, is it BBW? Is that what it means?
Big, beautiful women.
Beautiful women? There you go.
Big, beautiful women. Well, let me tell you something, okay? You don't trust skinny chefs. So the thing is, it doesn't matter what's on the inside that counts or on the outside that counts. It's what's inside the oven. So if you got a fat chick, it's perfect. You know she's going to make you a huge turkey dinner, maybe some barbecue. It's perfect. The only thing is you have to suffer for about 10 or 15 minutes while you're having sex. But after that, it's all gravy, baby. And I really mean gravy. Yeah. The real deal. It's a fantastic idea, and it's something that everybody should think about. Remember, it's not what's on the outside that counts. It's what's in the oven. There we go.
There you go. Well, Tony's been cooking tonight. Tony Baloney, ladies and gentlemen, always in fine form with that orange glass or liquid or whatever the fuck he's drinking these days. But great stuff, Tony. Good to have you back on, my brother. We'll see you again next week. So, guys, line up those questions for Tony. Make sure you get them in. You can always send them to us in advance as well. If you feel like you can always DM Middle-Aged Game Guy and send them your questions there, or send them to me, whichever, and I'll pass them along. But great stuff, guys. Dating advice for the man himself. Good stuff. So we're going to start doing the outros here now so we can let everybody get out of here. Let's start with our fantastic guest whose first podcast was here tonight. Another cherry popped on Gaming After Dark. Reppin' the 10. Reppin', you did a great job tonight. Your microphone was awesome. You chimed in when you needed. Quick and to the point. We love it, man. You're welcome to come back again. We will have you soon. But let everybody know where they can catch up with you. If you don't have a YouTube channel, or you do, or even just catch up with you on social media, let people know where they can find you.
Hey, yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was a blast, a very cool experience. Noof, I couldn't ask to be a part of something, that didn't involve you, because you made it fun, and so did everybody else. You guys can catch me on Twitter at Reppin' the 10, Xbox Reppin' the 10, PlayStation Reppin' the 10. I don't know if anyone watches Twitch, but I also stream. That's twitch.tv/Reppin' the 10. I do a lot of Call of Duty on there. And whatever games I'm going to start playing from Xbox or PlayStation. But I hope to be on this down the road. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right, guys, you heard him. Go give him a follow. Reppin' the 10. Simple as that. Let's get over to our second fantastic guest of the evening, the man who, with the amazing beard, the guy who makes every podcast a little more explosive, the HR Bomber.
Man, I appreciate it, Noof. Thank you, Titan. Of course, Mr. Mag. Appreciate y'all bringing me on this fine show. It was freaking fun. And Reppin', man, you killed it. Of course, chat killed it as well. Of course, you can find me on the old Twitter at HRBomber1414, Xbox, PlayStation, HR Bomber. And of course, you can find me every Wednesday night. So tomorrow night, actually, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gaming Beyond the Box. It's a podcast me and our crew are with. So, so if you want to hear some crazy shit and we don't give a fuck about your feelings, then hey, come on over tomorrow night, baby. But again, thank y'all. It was a blast.
Yes, he is right. Hell of a podcast over there at Gaming Beyond the Box. What a crew over there, man. Gets wild and wacky almost each and every week. Let's get over to our fine, amazing panel, and let's start with a Mag. Let people know where they can catch up with you, my fine brother.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, it was a pleasure as always. And the Beard Bomber, it was great to work with you again, my friend. And Reppin' the 10, it was a pleasure having you on the show. It was great. We had a great time tonight. Panel, chat, you guys are always awesome. And, of course, you could follow me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end. And on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, you could follow me at the same name for both, all capitals, all one word, because I don't know how to be quiet. I am the Mag. That's with 2 G's. And, of course, you can find me here every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Noof Nukem Titan Drago on Gaming After Dark. And you can find me Monday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with none other than the legendary Mr. Boomstick XL and friends on Primetime Gaming. Guys, as always, it was a pleasure. It was great, and I can't wait for next week. It's going to be a great time. Everybody have a great week and a good night.
Yes, he is absolutely right, man. I can't wait for Tuesday nights each and every week, counting down the days to get to hang out with these fine folk, our amazing guests, and one of the best podcast chats in the business, bar none. That is right. What's up, Loon Smile? I don't think I gave you a shout out tonight, so thanks for being here. To everybody in the chat, I hope I caught up with everybody. If not, please forgive me in advance. And to the final panel member of the evening, the man who puts the tit in Titan, it is Titan Drago, the man who brings the common back to sense. Who gets that common back to sense award tonight, Titan?
You know what? I'm adding a loser of the show award in addition to the common sense award from the show. All right, and I may not do it every week, but I definitely got one this week, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the Common Sense Award winner is none other than the Mag himself.
What?
All right,
what?
yeah.
Wow.
You know what? This is the first Common Sense Award given to someone on the panel, but hey, when we all act like Dreadpool in the chat and do nothing but prove me wrong, you're not winning the Common Sense Award for the week, which is why HR Bomber did not win it. Okay? But you know what? Mag wins with his attention to detail this week. Way to bring the common back to sense, Mag.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Now, my loser of the show is none other than Tony Baloney.
Oh, my God.
All right. Now, I understand everyone loves his jokes, but this fraud has the worst green screen anyone has ever seen. I mean, who the hell said, hey, let's create a green screen of a basement background? All right. This guy hates on Smite because he doesn't know what a starter item is. I mean, this guy is bronze 5 spilling pink champagne as he feeds the carry all game long, all right? And Hoobastank was an awesome band. But you know what? You know what they named Hoobastank after? It's Tony Baloney's package. Because with his God of a lot of surface, AIDS package. I mean, you guys are getting dating advice from someone with more diseases than the heart of China. Let's bring the common back to sense.
Oh, my Lord. Oh my God. There you go. Titan saved his rant for the end of the show. Fuck yeah, there you go. That's how you end a gaming after dark right there. You guys know me, guys. It's Doof Dukem, always in the gutter. You can find me just about anywhere, always on Twitter, but on this fantastic podcast each and every Tuesday night, and of course on Saturday nights, usually trying to get a community game night on the go. For those of you who don't know, make sure you check out Mr. Tushy as well. The UK crowd, they start up a bit earlier. I think it's around 2 o'clock Mountain, which would be around 12 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard. They got some great games lined up for you this week. I think they do have Halo Master Chief Collection again, Golf with Friends, and a few other ones as well. I think they're doing one on Friday night. And then following those guys on Saturday, I plan on doing, well, right now, based on the poll, it looks like it's probably going to be Destiny 2 multiplayer. So if you guys have Destiny 2 and want to come out and fire that one up, that'd be great. And after that, possibly it looks like some Star Wars Battlefront, and I'm talking about the original Battlefront from a couple of years ago, not the second one. Don't ask me why I decided to pick that one. I think a lot of people have that one anyway, the original game. It's pretty cheap, and I think it might even be like on the EA thing or whatever. So, but anyway, that's where we're going to do it. So that'll be Saturday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Hope to see more people out for that. Like I said, all you got to do, make sure you got your games loaded up. Make sure they're updated, especially if we're planning to play Call of Duty, because that fucking thing always got a massive update all the time. And that's it. And just when you see me online, I'll open a party. You just jump on in and say, ready to play. That's it. That's as simple as it is. You don't need to be invited. You don't have to feel like you're intruding, because everybody is welcome. What happens if we get a little too many? We might have to start 2 lobbies. We might have a few spectators and rotate in and out. That's how it works. But don't feel like you can't come out and play. Everybody's welcome, no matter what your skill level. Some people kick ass. Some people are pure ass. So it doesn't really matter. We have a good time as long as you're not a complete kiss ass. But no, we have a lot of fun, man. Community game nights are awesome. I can't stress that enough. And I'd like to see more of our community members getting out there, except for the same, seems like the same dozen or so every week, which is fantastic. Nothing against the regulars, but I'd like to see more new faces, new blood coming in, having fun, because that's really what gaming's all about. It's having fun, shooting the breeze at your friends. It is fantastic. Yeah, only 16 allowed in the party chat, which kind of sucks. But like I said, we can always start up a second, rotate people in and out. There's ways around the system, but like to see you there. Anyway, that's it for all of us here. We want to wish you all the best. Thanks for being here once again and making this we have 50 likes right now, at least on my screen. 51 thumbs down to that poor sucker, whoever that was. We had over 50 watching again tonight. Great crowd. So thank you for the support. We will see you again next Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and keep it real. Keep it gaming.
Not everyone has a sense of humor.
Nope. Take care, guys. Peace out.
Night.
Good night.